Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. Thought I'd pop on for just a couple minutes, maybe a couple hours. We'll see. Hang out. I got a couple pours I'm going to have tonight, including this one that I just got today. Is a Paul John. What's going on here? Looks like we got some feedback going on, of course. Don't we? This Paul John Christmas edition 2020. This was a pretty limited release in the US, I guess. Not exactly an easy thing to find, but I did finally come across one, and I've had a couple pours already, and it's awesome. I'll tell you guys a little bit about that tonight. Why not? Definitely a good one. And Maher, what's going on? Hey, speak of the devil. What's going on, buddy? I cracking something up from your homeland of India, my friend. Check it out. Paul John, Christmas edition 2020. Excited. Yeah, I've had a sip already, and man, it is fantastic. Yeah, you are the first in the door, bud. Which is well, this is probably, what is it? It's got to be pretty early in the morning for you on a Saturday, hey? What is it? Probably in India, like you're 11 hours ahead. Was it like 6, 7? Or, man, maybe even not. Probably it's late. I don't even know. I don't got a time translator in front of me. But in the meantime, while I try to figure out time zones, starting off tonight, celebrating Friday with a little Laphroaig Castle. This is a 14-year. This is the Twin Wood. It's a 46% non-chill filtered, and it is bourbon barrels and Oloroso, and then I think they're just married together. Really good stuff. They don't make their own distillate. They actually buy it from other distilleries and just kind of do their own bottlings. They're not like an independent bottler exactly, but so far, really been enjoying this one. It's nice and relaxed. It's a good one to kind of start with, especially if you can get it at a good price. 5:30 a.m. for our friend in India, Maher. Thank you for swinging in, man. What are you doing up so early? You got to work this weekend? French. Happy Friday. How are you? Man, so much coconut on this. Z. Ben, how you doing? Yeah. Representing, I guess. Can't trust the Germans, though, really, can you? Man, that is good. Hello from Speyside. Mark Slinger, how are you? Happy Friday, buddy. Hello from Philadelphia, PA on the Eastern Seaboard. Ben's in Alberta. Man, we're international already. We got India, USA, we got Canada in the house, and we got Scotland in the house. That's a good way to start a Friday. A couple drams with folks, man. How's everybody doing? Everybody having anything so far? He's been drinking all night, he says. Yeah, I can imagine if it's 5:30 a.m. around you, buddy. You've been either up, you either woke up, or you haven't slept. Getting up early, or it's one of those all-nighters. What have you been sipping on, man? Peter White. Happy Friday, buddy. Cheers. Good to have you in the house. I'm a big fan of this Laphroaig Castle. I've had their 12. I thought it was really solid. This 14 is really nice. As I said, it's ex-bourbon, ex-Oloroso sherry, but I get a lot more of the bourbon notes on this, to be totally honest with you. But I'm definitely not saying that in a negative way. Right now, tonight, it tastes like a coconut macaroon or something like that. There's just so much coconut happening on this whiskey, more than I ever recall. It's been a little while since I've had some, but I like it quite a bit. And yeah, I don't think that they actually mean, they're not an independent bottler necessarily, but I'm not sure that they actually, I think they just source their distillate. I don't think that they don't buy it from like other distilleries, but I think they source it. I'm not quite sure though. They say this is a limited release. I don't believe that. Because I've seen this thing everywhere. Anyways, but in the chat, any of you guys ever had Napogue Castle? But after that, as I was saying at the onset, I got my hands on this one. Paul John Christmas Edition 2020. Non-chill, 46%. Incredible maturation on this. Ex-bourbon, Oloroso, virgin oak, and then it's got a bit of peat in it too, man. There's just everything happening in this. I've had a couple pours of it already. It's great. Folks saying hi. Swami's in the house. Couch potato whiskey. How are you doing, buddy? Happy Friday. Trouble in Montreal. Yeah, Swami, are you going to change the name of your channel now that you're kind of going through the transition into different content? Trouble in Montreal sounds like a good one. It's apropos to you. So what's everybody doing? Most of y'all can't be at work anymore, right? Jeez. These are all East Coast folks. I'm not the one wearing a German shirt. Yeah. Matt D. What's up, buddy? Well, right now we're having a little Napogue Castle Irish 14-year Twinwood. And this is the Christmas whiskey. Paul John Christmas Edition 2020. I actually had just recently learned about these thanks to our friend who's been up all night, Maher, in India, who was telling me about how Paul John puts out this annual Christmas batches. And they're pretty limited. I had no idea that they actually, like, I didn't think they were anywhere in the U.S. So I started hunting around a little bit, and sure as hell, found one. Found two, actually. So I grabbed them both just on a hunch. I had a feeling this was going to be good, and it is. I think they probably put color in it, but it's non-chill, 46%. I've been trying to get into some more of these Indian whiskeys of late. Selling bourbon to buy Indian whiskey. That's basically what I've been doing. What else is going on? Frank Miller's room. The Bullet Rye. What do you think about that Bullet Rye? I don't know. That was one of those whiskeys that was a standard shot whiskey at a couple bars I used to hang out at in Milwaukee. I never actually bought an entire bottle of it. I thought it was kind of light, kind of sweet. This has been a long time since I've had it, though. I know they said it was like a 95% rye mash bill or something, but I don't remember it being really spicy in any way. Maybe I'm wrong about that. What's up, Gary? How you doing? Oh, yeah. Gary hit the jackpot. Fuck, man. That's awesome. I've never been able to win one of those. Luckily, I got to taste one once, but for those of you who don't know, Old Forester does this like birthday bourbon every year. They're freaking impossible to get. So basically, you got to win them through a lottery or like, I don't know if you ever see those up in Canada by any stretch, but yeah, definitely. And he's got JP Weiser's 23. Man, what's going on, Gary? You're set for the weekend. All rye is mixer and shooter juice. I don't know about that. There's a few that I might take exception to that too, but I see your point. Canadian rye maybe. There's a couple like Willet. I don't think Willet is a shooter whiskey at all. I'm trying to think. There's a couple other maybe, but yeah, by and large. Pikesville. I don't know if I would do shots at Pikesville. It's too good. No, it's not from K&L. K&L actually won't ship here. I can't get anything from K&L, which is lame. No, I got it from, man, what's the name of it? If you want a bottle of it, it's $80 and not and this place. Here's the best thing about this place: their prices aren't great on some things, but they got a few bottles that are like really, really decently priced. The place is called where is it? Let me just check really quick. You'll probably want to at least check out their site. What is the name of that? So it's called shit. I'm leaving y'all in suspense. Man, I gotta reorganize my. So it's called Blackwell's Wines and Spirits, California, and they actually, if you have a $300 order, they'll give you free shipping on it in the U.S. Like I said, some of their stuff, it's not great prices, but if you look at it like in terms of the shipping being removed, you don't got to pay $35, $40 for FedEx shipping. It's pretty good. So it might be worth checking out if you're in the States. They had this Paul John, and then they had this limited edition Paul John 57. It's called the Oloroso, but it's 57.4% ABV. So I totally had to grab that too. The rest of their stuff is, they got a lot of good Japanese whiskeys. Prices vary. What? Damn. That's basically free for a 23-year-old whiskey, man. Nice score. Silverlock. It's up in Chicago, man. You guys buried in snow still? Yeah, surprise live indeed. I just got off work and started sipping this Paul John, and it's so damn good. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go online and chat about this shit with folks. For Paul John does not add any coloring. Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, they don't mention it on here, which I just, I wish they would, of course, but they do. They're all about the non-chill filtered. It's all over their label, which is great. And to be honest with you, if I had to choose one, I'd rather have the fake color in it than have it chill filtered. That's a great bottle. Bear collection. Big fan of the old vintage. Yeah, me too, man. That's one of the fucking bummers, man. The way they changed it up. I really dug that style. They just have they look like any other bottling, and they're just doing age statement stuff now. It's a real bummer. I haven't had any of it yet, so I don't want to hate on it too much, but I'm hesitant just because, if I'm going to buy a Bob Blair, I'm still going to hunt for some of these old vintages. I got a few. I got, the 92nd release, the 99, the 03, 05, and then I have a 05 single cask, which is like 13 years old. That was a store pick, actually. Got that as a gift. I'd love to get that 83 though, but I never see that anywhere in the States anymore. Oh yeah, Blackwell's. Okay. Yeah, it's great. This free shipping thing on $300 order. It was like, what? When does that ever happen? And they ship quick too. So they're in California, and man, I'm telling you, I got this stuff came to me in like 4 days or less, all the way across the country. I was impressed. Oh, I got some from Flask. What is that called? The one in San Francisco. It's called like Flask Wine and Spirits. They still have a couple, actually. 108 a bottle. I'm not sure what batch, because of course they don't actually mention it, but I don't have any, so I just threw in the order. Why not? What do you think about the new Ardbeg committee release coming out next month? NAS would suggest it. What? 180? Nah, man. I'm done. I'm not doing it. You're talking about the Scorch or whatever? 180? Fuck, man. I hope I don't walk in. I'm just not going to go to any stores in March, because I swear, there's a couple stores that I stop by every once in a while right across the river from me in Jersey. And like, of course, I know the guy on a first name basis now. And so he'll be like, he's the one who let me know about the Glenmorangie Taylor cake. He's the one who let me know about the committee release Black. right around March, first weeks of March, they start showing up. Come on, man, 180. I'm not doing it. I'm gonna sit that one out. There's another one that just came out, which is this like it's like an X rye. It's called like the Ardbeg. It's some type of tribute bottle to Mickey Heads, the master distiller who left or whatever. I don't know. And that one I think is retailing or is going to retail around like 160 or 172, man. It's getting out of control. I mean, the black was freaking 140 for the committee. I mean, it's good. The problem is it's like people are going to buy them and flip them. And, you can flip those for like, I've already seen it happening today. I've seen people flipping it in some of these groups for like 260, 270 for that new Ardbeg. People are buying them. It's like, but then you got to buy a few, man. It's like, if you're going to try to sell them and make money off of it, I want to at least drink it, man. A rye finished, or a rye matured Ardbeg sounds pretty good, but it's not $180 good. I mean, man, the amount of whiskeys you could actually pick up for that price. You could get a freaking Glendronach Allardyce for that price. You could get you can maybe even get a Springbank 18. A lot of other stuff. Well, sooner or later, we got to stop buying this stuff because they're going to keep gouging us on it. Oh, wow. Got yourself. Oh, I've had that one. That's really tasty. Nods. I have the Oloroso Plowjon as well. Oh, do you? The 57 percenter? Oh, man. I've heard nothing but good things. I had to get one. It's the problem, right? Like, especially with bourbon. On the one hand, you get a bunch of delicious bourbon at a cheap price, MSRP, which is what you got it in the lottery, so I'm sure it was MSRP. And then it's like, but you could turn around and make $150 off that because there are all these people out there that are going to buy it. And it's like, you don't want to contribute to this crazy bubble of the bourbon bubble. But at the same time, it's like, man, there is no bourbon, in my opinion, maybe outside of like a Pappy or like a BTAC Weller or a BTAC George T. Stagg that I think is worth a $300 price tag. So, man, I mean, it's tempting to want to just sell that. Make some money, go get yourself some good scotch. I mean, it is just bourbon at the end of the day. A good bourbon, but it's bourbon. I don't know. What do you do? I mean, okay, to be totally honest with you, I earlier last week I got a Michter's 10. I got tipped off that the government-controlled stores here in PA, one of them had like 4 bottles of Michter's 10 bourbon come in. So I like drove halfway across town because I knew I was like, I got to grab this. It was like $129, so cheap as hell. And then, yeah, like you look online, man, and you could flip those for like $250 easily. People will buy them. What do you do? It's a lot of money. It's like 100% profit on a fucking bottle of bourbon, man. It's crazy. Oh, what else is going on? Try and get your hands on the Mithuna expression from Paul John. I haven't seen that one. I don't. Oh, wow. Nice. Yeah, man. I got to get in on some more of these Paul Johns for sure. They're freaking awesome. That's why I trade some of those allocated. What's up, Daniel? Those allocated bottles for other things. I have a hard time gouging someone. I mean, yeah, you can pretty easily too, Like a lot of, people in the US, man, they're just so over the top about bourbon. Like the last 5-6 years, I think it's been. It's crazy. And, like, man, Weller's a great example of it, right? So you see these like Weller releases that 5-10 years ago were bottom shelfers, $20-$30. like a Weller Special Reserve was probably like a $20 bottle. Man, nowadays to even get that in a store if you can, it's like $90, man. I see the Weller 12s and the Weller antiques going on secondary market for upwards of $200 a bottle. Like, who's paying for this? Why would you pay that much money for? I mean, it's not that it's bad whiskey. It's just like it's a good, solid weeded whiskey. But Jesus, it's not a $200 bottle. It's not even a $100 bottle. But people are crazy about it, man. And so if you live in one of those states with the Wellers, they just go on and they sell them to all these people who don't live in those states. And you can make a living doing that. What else is going on? Alan, the whiskey friend. What's up, man? How are you? Says the backdrop's coming on. Yeah, thanks. I've been bringing some stuff up from the bunker, and getting myself a bunch of new stuff too. Figure I finally, like, now that I got in a new place, can start setting things up, put some of this stuff out. It's been literally sitting in crates, these big tubs in my basement for years. Still a lot down there too. There's always more to buy. That's the problem. Good to see you, man. Happy Friday. Folks saying hi to each other. Silverlock, whiskey friend. Ben, did you pay $300 for a Laphroaig 18 today? No. No, I wouldn't. That's too much. If you're seeing it for that price, they're gouging. Because, I mean, the secondary market price on Laphroaig 18 right now, I think, is more like $210, $220 for a green tube, and maybe $200 for a white. I got a couple green tubes still left, and I have a couple white tubes that I bought. Well, a couple of them were gifts. The others were, I mean, I got them like a year or 2 years ago where they were going for around like 160, 170, which I felt like was still a reasonable price for that. I mean, that was when, of course, like a lot of other 18-year-old whiskeys were kind of, the high-end ones were in that price range. Now it's like Allardyce, is a great example. It's went up like $50, $60 in the last, year? So, yeah, I don't know, $300 for the Laphroaig 18. You can almost, if you hunt around, you could almost get like a Laphroaig 25 for that price, which you may like better. I don't know. I think the Laphroaig 18 is probably the best thing that they've made. But I don't know, $300. That's a tough call. I would say no, but if you're, have you had it before? That's another good question. And if you were willing to pay $300, we should talk, because I'll sell you one maybe cheaper than that. This. What's up, buddy? Long time no see, man. How are you? Thanks for stopping in. We got 18 folks in the house, man. Right on. Cheers, everybody. Happy Friday. I'm just doing a quick little impromptu live. Maybe it won't be so quick. I don't know. I'm just hanging out, sipping some Laphroaig Castle 14-year-old twin wood Irish whiskey, 46% ABV, non-chill, Oloroso and bourbon, as you'd probably expect. Killer bottle, and really well priced. USD on this is like 50, 55. This is good. I would highly recommend grabbing this if you see it. I don't think it's a whiskey I could sip all night, though, because it gets a little bit, the sweetness and the kind of that gingery breadiness that it has gets a little bit old. The coconut, which there's just a ton of on this. But this is a good pour. And like I was saying earlier, like they got a 16-year-old too, which I think is like well under $100. I think the 16-year-old Laphroaig Castle is something like, I don't know, like 70 or something. If you like Irish whiskey, man, don't sleep on Laphroaig Castle. It's Bardstown bourbon, Foregate, Old Carter, among others that are passing B-Tech stuff, but still can't get those here. Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. The other ones you could throw on that list are, what is it? It's Cream of Kentucky, or Kentucky Owl or whatever. I don't get it, man. I mean, I'm not a bourbon hater. I'm not trying to say I don't like it, but like, it's just crazy. It's crazy how much people are paying for bottles that a couple of years ago were like like a third of the price. Eventually, right? It's got to burst sometime. People are ever just going to get old. It's just going to get old, and people are going to be done with it. The Brilliant Standard Single Malt with a bold. Anybody tried those? The Brilliance is a bit more. No, I saw the Brilliance though. I was going to actually consider buying it, but then I found this Christmas edition, so I had to grab this one. But that one's something like 80, 85 range or something like that. If Maher's still here, he'll let us know. He's how good that one is. I'm sure he's had a whole bunch of those. Boy, I haven't seen the blue spot really anywhere here. Alan's got the cup of tea going tonight, huh? All right. You're a weekend worker, huh? What days do you normally have off? You're usually off. You have off on Sundays, though, right? Because I've been seeing you do streams and stuff. Just Saturdays? Fist at Triconal 16. I haven't had that one, but that's another one. Quig was singing the praises of the Triconals. I haven't had one of those yet, but that's probably going to be the next thing I dive into. I've been liking a lot of Irish. I'm trying to kind of do more Irish. In March, I'm going to do all Irish whiskey reviews. I'm going to be doing this Napogue Castle. I'm going to do the Redbreast 21, the Red Spot 15, and then I got that Glendalough, or is it the Glendalough? Glendalough Mizunara 13. I might do that. Speaking of spots, I got these not too long ago, and I think I'm going to do like a little head-to-head. But if any of y'all have these, so these are both Green Spot releases, and they're basically like wine finished. One is Chateau Montelena, one is Chateau Leoville Barton, both 46%. This is basically kind of like a Bordeaux wine type situation. And this one is Zinfandel. I haven't had either of them, but I saw them and I was like, holy shit, I didn't even know that those existed. So I don't know if they're really new or they've been around for a while. I didn't really read up much on them, but those seem like some good spins. I like the Green Spot quite a bit. It's a great daily sipper. Hell yeah. You can't beat Laphroaig 10 caster. If there's one Isla whiskey that I would walk away with for the rest of my life, if I could only have one, it would be that. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't like to hate on it. I just feel like people are just like over the freaking top about it. I don't know if you're in the States or not, Gary, but they, if you are, then like it's just absolutely crazy. You walk into a store these days and you even see a Weller on the shelf and they're trying to sell you that shit for like $200-$300 for a fucking unaged statement, just like weeded bourbon, which personally for me, I mean, I like weeded bourbon at its moments, but like, here's a point of contrast. Larceny, barrel proof, right? They do 3 batches a year. They started doing it last year. They're from Heaven Hill. They do it just like the Elijah Craig barrel proof. These, $50. Not always easy to find, but they're not exactly rare either. This is $50, a barrel proof, and yet people are going to go spend $150 to $200 on a Weller Special Reserve NAS 45%. Like, I don't get it, man. Well, it's got to stop one of these days. This can't go on forever, man. There's got to be a bottom to this. So yeah, no, I mean, I have a couple rare bourbons. I'm selling a bunch right now. I have an old Elijah Craig barrel proof in the old bottle. I'm selling for like $250 tonight. I have a Orphan Barrel Rhetoric that I'm selling for about $250, and then that's it. And the rest are pretty much drinkers. I mean, might as well dump them now. The other thing, I'll mention this. I'm gonna get off the soapbox in a second. Here's the other one. E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof. Okay, E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof, really, really good stuff. But its MSRP is somewhere around like, I think like 110, 120. And it was going up in price. And so like I jumped on it in 2018. I found a bottle in the wild for $189. I flipped it for like $270. And, you know, I was like, all right, that was a good amount of money. These people are like hype as hell about this. Man, I saw yesterday E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof going for $430. What? Like, if I'd have sat on it for another year, it would have doubled in its freaking value. Like, I don't understand. For literally like an above average, but $400 bourbon? Fuck out of here with that. People are just crazy, man. Have you ever tried Amroot Cask Strength? No, I haven't. The only Amroots I've had is the regular the intro line single malt and the Fusion, which is freaking fantastic. Speaking of, I think I still have some. The Fusion's great. I don't know, but I can't vouch for the cask strength. I mean, I imagine it's good, but if you've not had the Fusion, grab that one. It's like a Scottish barley and like Indian barley mixed together. Really, really flavorful. It's not that expensive. It's maybe like $65 for Amroot. That's not that bad. That one I can definitely recommend. I don't know about the cask strength, and I know they have a ton of other releases out too that are just like too expensive for my taste these days. But I'd love to try them. Let me know if you've had that Fusion. Anybody else had the Fusion? Oh, cool. Yeah, I don't have the blue. That's the only one I don't have either. Well, I don't have a bottle of the regular green right now either. My favorite is the yellow. I actually think the yellow spot that's the 12-year, I think. Yeah, I actually like it a little bit more than the red. The red is good, but I don't know. I think that yellow spot is probably my favorite. But then, of course, yeah, I haven't had these finished ones. The Bordeaux wine or this Zinfandel. I didn't even know they existed. Oh, man, I'm way behind, y'all. Sorry about that. Yeah. Yeah. The regular green spot, I wish it had a little bit more, like it's a little bit on the light side. I think that's the only thing that bugs me about it. I think it's only 40%. But for like a $50 Irish whiskey, it's fantastic. I just wish they'd bump that up to like 43 or something, you know? Oh yeah. I mean, and of course, this bad boy, Redbreast 12 cask strength, probably my favorite, one of my favorite whiskeys of all time, and definitely my favorite Irish whiskey that I've probably had to date. Although this 21 Redbreast is pretty crazy. I think that the Redbreast 12 cask strength is one of those whiskeys that was like one of those whiskey moments of your life where you experience something for the first time and you're like, holy shit. Because before that, I had only had like, Jameson and Powers and, you're kind of like run of the mill stuff that you have at a bar when you're out with your friends. I never really thought much about Irish whiskey. And, I'd heard about Redbreast. Gotta try Redbreast. And so like I saw the cask strength and it was like $65-$70 at the time. This was a couple of years ago. So I was like, I'm going to get this. And it's killer. It just blew my mind. I still like to have one of those around all the time because it's just that good. Aquavite speaks highly of those Irish. Oh, cool. Validator. Good deal. Yes, I'm in California. That's good. Oh, yeah. You're out by all my old honey holes, man. When I lived in DC, man, I built my whiskey collection off California because they would ship to DC, and then you don't got to pay the crate. You know, DC's so international and touristy that they upcharge like crazy on good stuff there. I used to order from, well, K&L didn't ship to DC, but who did? Where were the spots I went? Remedy, High Times, which I actually visited when I was out in LA a couple months ago. That place was great. Remedy, Third Base Wine and Spirits, Oaks Liquors. Yeah, man. I mean, I remember getting a box of like 4 bottles of Ugadal, and it was like under $200. So it's like, man, love those California stores. And they had a bunch of great picks too. I mean, Third Base and High Times had a bunch of Four Roses picks that were like off the chain. Yeah, but being close to K&L, that's like the spot. I did not get to visit there when I was out in LA a few months ago. I will be going back there in March, so maybe I'll try and swing over there. The other one that is good, but they don't ship out of state, is Mission. So yeah, all of you should be going online looking up those spots, because they might ship to you and you can get some really good stuff at great prices, especially for Scotch. Paul John Brilliance and Bold are both good whiskeys. The difference is that the Brilliance is non-peated and the Bold is peated. Okay. Yeah, man, I'm learning a lot about the Paul Johns from you, brother. Thank you. 2020 Laphroaig, yes. The 2020 is really good. The batch 12, awesome stuff. The one from 2 years ago, I think, is still my favorite, the batch 10. The one from last year was a little bit different. Some of them, they're not as like intense peat, the smoke forward. They're a little bit tamer on the smoke and more kind of this like savory. Like the batch 7 and the batch 11 were both really savory. But the 12, the one that came out last year, is really good. Some joker was trying to sell a Burn BMC Spirit Premiums. What? Oh no. 1,200 for the Alberta Premium CS. Oh man, yeah, it's going crazy in the States on that Alberta Premium. Ever since what was it, Whiskey Advocate, or was it the Bible guy or whatever, who said it was like the whiskey of the year? They have a bunch of them at the government stores here in PA for $70 a piece. So what the fuck those people are talking about? $1,200. I got one of them. It's fine, but it's way too much alcohol. It's 66% ABV, but it has so much alcohol burn on it. Like I watered it down to probably 50% at least, and it was still like so young and sharp. But it does have some quality in it. I don't know. I'm not sure what the hype is on that, to be totally honest with y'all. Yeah, you do. I remember you were talking about those the other night, right? Have you messed around with the Paul John stuff at all, Peter? I would love if you have some Paul John recommendations too. I do not have nearly. I have nearly just scratched the surface when it comes to the Am roots. But if you have any other recommendations on those, have you ever had Rampur? That's another Indian whiskey that shows up around the States quite a bit that I see. Maher, if you're still here and upright at 5:36 in the morning, you let me know what your thoughts are on Rampur, because I'm getting into it. I'm liking these Irish or these Indian whiskeys quite a bit, and this Paul John stuff is just freaking off the chain. All right. Good to see you, man. Take care. Be well. Yeah, Mission is good. That was a good shop. Bold is one of the best expressions from Paul John. Okay, good to know. You know what? Before I get into this Paul John, I think I'm actually gonna switch it up a little bit. I'm gonna actually do some of that Amroot Fusion. It's been a minute since I've had that. And that was really a good one. There it is. Fusion. I really liked this. Maher, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on the Fusion. Yeah, Alan's heading off to bed on us, y'all. Understandable. Is Mark Slinger still here? Yeah. This is seriously good. One sec. Yeah, so Fusion, 50% ABV. Daniel, I don't know if you've had this one, but if you're going to get one, I really recommend this. 50% ABV. And basically, yeah, it's Scottish and Indian barley fused together. So it's got a little bit of that, whatever you want to call it, terroir thing going on. If you think that that's a huge real thing. East meets West, they say. This is non-chill too, I'm pretty sure. It actually, I don't know if it actually doesn't say it on here, which is a bummer. But it doesn't matter. You should get this. If you're going to buy the next Indian whiskey you buy, depending on if you've not went to the higher upper range stuff and you're just looking to get another Amruth and try it, this is the one to get. Really good stuff. Oh, man. So much vanilla. The sweet barley notes are just like huge in this. Green apple. Toffee. It's awesome. Oh, it was Jim Murray. One sec, y'all. Oh, yeah, it's awesome. It's a little young, but really killer. Eric Waite says he is live in 2 minutes. Is that a declaration? Eric Waite, yeah, I mean, it is 2 Erics with a K. I should probably, you guys should go over there and tell him, man, maybe I should reach out to him and we could just do a show together or something. Why not? I haven't actually caught up with much of Eric Waite's stuff of late. Beth, how you doing? Happy Friday. Sláinte, Beth. Hope you're doing well. Peter White saying no on the Rampur. I asked Maher about Rampur a few months ago. Okay, so he's probably still here. Amber Fusion is Jim Murray Whiskey of the Year many years ago. Okay. He says Rampur is really hard to find in India. Well, if it's hard to find in India, that's a little suspect. Cohen, SoCal buddy, how are you? I hear it's raining out there tonight. Stay off the roads, man. You California people can't drive in weather. What's your thought on the Springbank One Rumwood? I don't know yet because I just got it and I haven't opened it. It's funny you bring this up. I was talking with Telex on our show on Tuesday. Was it last week? We did some rum finished whiskeys. And I've just not loved the rum finish with Scotch. I've not found one that I thought was really good. I think the Balvenie 14 was all right. I had what did we taste? We tasted the Glenlivet in Reserve. Avoid that. That was trash. It was just so sweet and boring. No depth at all, as expected, sort of. 40%. But then we did the Glenfiddich 21, which was a rum cask. And, I actually thought it was pretty good. The problem with that, though, is it was also 40%. 40% ABV on a 21-year-old whiskey is a criminal. But it did punch above its weight for only being 40% ABV. But I don't think it's a $200 whiskey. Other than that, I don't know, man. Rum and whiskey don't seem to be a thing that I like. You know, what obviously there's the infamous one, the freaking Ardbeg drum, which was shite. So I've been a little bit hesitant about it, but I came across a good deal on the Springbank. And so if anybody can do a rum finish well, or a rum maturation, is it finished or matured? No, it's rum matured. If anybody can do it well, it's going to be Springbank. So I got high hopes for it, but I haven't tried it yet. Yeah, it's also expensive, right? I mean, isn't that like a $70, $80 bottle? I've seen the Rampur at a few places, and the price just seemed like I didn't know anything about it, and the price just seemed like a little steep for compared. I mean, even it was in line with like the Amroots and stuff, but it didn't. I don't know. There was nothing about it that was screaming at me. It's kind of a black hole. I don't know a lot of people who've had it either, but Peter White is not endorsing it. Amroot 8.9 year Jaggery rum. Oh, well, there you go. All right. James Chang, how you doing, buddy? Happy Friday. Cilantro to you and yours where you're at. Awesome to have you in the house. We're chatting about world whiskeys. We're chatting about rum finishes. We're talking crap about bourbon. Doing it all here on this impromptu live. Which was going to be quick, but now I'm actually thinking maybe not. Maybe we'll hang out for a little while. Good to have you here, man. Rampur Sava single malt. Sounds like a plan. Yeah. Are you talking about the Fusion? Yeah, the Fusion is a good plan. The Fusion is a damn good plan. You should definitely grab it if you can. There are a healthy amount of them out there. Like it's not a hard whiskey to get your hands on. Like that's for sure. Like you shouldn't have any issue finding it. It's just got a lot going on in it. It really, really does. I think this one, before this Paul John that I drank tonight, this was probably the favorite Indian whiskey that I've had. It's rich, it's complex, it's really sweet. It fires on all cylinders. A huge step up from the Amroot, just regular single malt core range release. Like this is 3 times as good as that, and only about $25 more. Rob, what's up, man? How are you? It's been a little while, buddy. Happy 2021. Hope your New Year's off to a good start, man. Thanks for popping in. You sipping on anything good tonight? I'm just about to kill this glass of Amroot, and then we're going into this seriously freaking fantastic whiskey. Paul John, Christmas edition 2020. Just got my hands on it. As you can see, I already drank some because it is fucking good. I got some Kilcarens too. Yeah. There was a couple places selling them online. I can't find them anywhere locally. Came and went as usual next week. Better for that, man. You know what? We're going to be getting snow finally here in Philly. We've had no snow. I guess you got the Springbank 17 Madeira. Fisk, if you got it, that's awesome. I got myself one too. Had to. Right on, man. Whiskey in the 6. What's up, Rob? Happy Friday, buddy. Cheers. Rob, have you messing around with the Paul Johns at all? Do you find these up in your area? I just got my hands on this. This is they've been doing these Christmas editions. I don't know how much you know about them, but apparently this is like the 3rd year of the Christmas editions. And I'm actually going to get some of this in the glass now. Somehow found this at a shop in the States, which is, I've never seen it before anywhere. This is like the 3rd year they've been doing it. So got really lucky with this. I'll tell you all about it in just a couple seconds, everybody. Let me just catch up in the chat. Good to see you, man. Happy Friday. Yeah, dude, Springbank prices are insane. Springbank 15, less than a year ago, was $95 to $100 around here, and now it's $150. I don't know what to do about it. Oh, I have not had that one. 2003. There was like a rum finish. I do love me some Glen Scotia, so yeah, I've not had that one. But good to know there's a short list of people, or a short list of decent rum finished or rum matured scotches, because man, I think that list is pretty damn short. Like I said, I think the Balvenie 14 is solid, but there's like a Dewar's Caribbean one, which is totally trash. The Glenlivet is really pretty much trash. The Caribbean Reserve. The Springbank is going to be an exception. I know it. The Ardbeg Drum was mediocre. The Glen Fittick 21 was solid, but at $200 some for a 40% whiskey, it's just hard to fork over that money. I'm surprised Glen Alecky hasn't put out a rum finish yet. I mean, they probably have. I just haven't seen it. They've put out a finish in basically everything. Same with Deanston. Okay, y'all. Let's get into this Christmas and January whiskey. All right, so here we go. Paul John, Indian Distillery, Christmas edition 2020. 46% non-chill filtered. Check out the maturation on this. Ex-bourbon, Oloroso, virgin oak, and a hint of peat. So there's a ton going on in this, and it lives up to it. The first sips I had of it were off the wall. This is fantastic. This was about $80 USD. Very limited, I guess. I'm not sure how many bottles they made, but I've not seen this anywhere. And this is the 3rd release of the Christmas edition that they've done. They did one in 18 and 19. So quick check on the color. Again, I don't know if this is real. Maher, who is in India, if he's still in the chat, can let us know. He said that he thinks that the Paul Johns don't have color added, but it's hard to know for sure since they don't say it. But that's what we're looking at. No age statement, but of course with Indian whiskey, because of the climate, lower, the amount of years is not the same as it is with like Scotch or even bourbon for that matter. They say that on average, like a 1 year in a barrel in India is the equivalent of like 3 years in a barrel in Scotland. So a 5-year-old whiskey is like a 15-year-old Scotch, right? This is kind of the same thing you get with rum, right? I mean, a lot of it has to do with the climate and the amount of heat and moisture that causes the wood to expand and contract a lot. It's basically what it is. So folks saying hi to each other. Yeah, we're going to dive into this. I'll tell you right off the bat, the nose on this is freaking fantastic. So Silverlock confirms it is uncolored and non-chill filtered. That's awesome. I wish they would just say it's natural color on here. I mean, they prominently say that it's non-chill. They're on the bottle, on the label. But I'll tell you, the nose on this is crazy complicated. You get a little bit of this kind of fermented sourness in the background. And it's like almost like the Springbank funk a little bit. There's a ton of toffee barley. The barley is balancing everything out, which is great. You get a bit of this dark dried fruit off the Oloroso. It's spicy. there's so much happening in just, this is going to be one of those bottles that it's going to take a while for me to like actually put out a full review of, because this is going to take some research, like, which is exciting. I mean, there's not many whiskeys that, you get to say that about. There's just like a nice ginger, like a warm gingerbread note going on in this too. The nose is awesome. Multi-dimensional. Sweet. If we were going to go with just kind of senses notes, it's sweet, slightly sour, slightly savory. Yeah. There's a lot happening here. Let's give it a taste. Sláinte, happy Friday. Huge oily arrival at 46%. It's a ride. Arrives sweet, apple, cinnamon, nutmeg, coriander. And then it just goes up another notch. You get this surge of the dried fruit, the sweet kind of, not as much on the apple side. It's more like juicy, like blueberry, something like that. Then you get another surge of ginger, peppercorn, but the peppercorn is pretty timid. Maybe it's actually it's not peppercorn. It's maybe more like cinnamon. You get some oak char influence. The finish is the only thing I think I could say slightly underwhelms, as it's just not quite as long as you want. But you do get a little bit of an after finish, and during the finish you get a little bit of an after surge of, again, it's like malted milk ball, root beer cola, like dry toffee, dry honey, slightly tannic. I mean, it's a slight ding. It's a really slight ding. This is fantastic stuff. I'm really, really impressed. I can already say I'm going to be hard pressed to find, I only do 52 whiskey reviews a year. And if this one gets reviewed this year, which it probably will, I can tell you right now, it's going to take a lot for this to get knocked out of my top 5. It is really damn good. Even now, there's like a nice graininess to it. Like, yeah, almost like a bready note. This has a little bit of a grain whiskey texture, despite it obviously being a malt. Yeah. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. Thank you again, Maher, for the just letting me know that this existed. Again, I just expected this would never show up in the States. Really glad it did. Jack the Pickled Hound is in the house. What's up, Jack? Happy Friday. Man. The thing I'm just to keep going on this for a second. The thing that I'm really, really impressed with this on is it's doing two things at once in terms of like meeting me where I'm at. Sometimes you just want kind of a light whiskey or a lighter whiskey, right? Something that's not going to just be like overwhelmingly powerful. And other times you want something that's a heavy hitter. This like simultaneously has so much complexity, including spice, but it's so balanced out that like you can kind of take it really easy. And then it also has this nice sweetness. It's like a perfect level of viscosity to kind of give you that middle of the road approach. But there's some things that if you focus on them enough, it comes off a little bit more robust, or it comes off a little bit lighter. Like it just can go other ways. It's really dynamic. There's that unmistakable, slightly sour, I don't know. It's this note I get off a lot of Indian whiskey, and it may have to just be to do with the barley, but there's like this slight kind of sourness, like, just like wet hay or something like that. We're going to do a couple drops of water. Fuck. That is good. Oh, man. And there's this nice juicy, it's like juicy fruit gum. It's like white chocolate amaretto. I'm going to start sounding foolish if I keep talking about it like this, because there's just so much happening in this. This is one of those whiskeys where I feel like every time you sit down with it, you're going to pick out something else. Again, ex-bourbon, Oloroso, virgin oak, and then it's slightly peated malt. Yeah. I like that it's a minimum, somewhat minimalist label despite being a Christmas whiskey. There's also like an orange, like that kind of bitterness that you get off of like the pith of an orange. For being about $15 more than the Fusion, which we were just sipping, like this is next level. Totally worth it. Mm-hmm. This is awesome. Winner. Let me know in the chat. Has anybody had this before? Except maybe Maher. It's interesting. That one hasn't gone up nearly as much as the others. I'm seeing the Springbank 12 cask strength for around 115 to 125. I've even seen for like 130 at the top end, which honestly, given how damn good that whiskey is, I feel like 125, 115, that's not too much to ask for that. What's suspect is seeing a 33% increase in the Springbank 15, which was around 100 this time last year and is now 150 anywhere that I basically look here on the East Coast. 140 to 150. The Springbank 10 has went up from around that 69, 75 mark to nearly 100. I see it usually for $90 to $95. I've seen it for 100. I mean, just can't do it. Yeah, there you go. I think that's like the max. I still like. I'm bullish on the Springbank 15 or the Springbank 12 cask strength. I think it's just such a damn good whiskey that I would probably still throw down 130. Although I might try to look and find out if people are saying it's one of their better batches or something like that. That's probably close to the ceiling. It's just so damn good. I mean, plus it's cask strength, so of course you're getting a little bit more for your money if you water it, if you put water on it at all. That all said, the one thing, the 10 has priced itself out of my. I just won't buy a Springbank 10 anymore. I like it, but come on, for $89 to $95, forget that. I'm not doing that. The Springbank 15 I'll never buy again. I found a bunch of bottles from 2016 at this shop. They were selling them for like $87 or something like that. So I bought all of them because I was like, I'm like, first of all, they're old Springbanks. They're in like the old label or something like that. I probably have one up there, in the back. And so I grabbed them, but I'll never get to try one of the new ones. There's no way I'm paying $150 for a 15-year-old. I just won't do it. Can't, man. I mean, like, it sucks too because is there a bad Springbank? I don't know. Not that I've had, but I've not had a ton of them. The Springbank 18 is over $200 now, pretty much everywhere I've seen. I mean, sooner or later this has to crash, right? Like, oh, I bet. Well, yeah, I freaking hope so, man. I really hope so. Sooner than later would be great because, I mean, but it's interesting, right? I don't know where the tariffs have seemed to hit certain whiskeys more than others. I don't know why. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but what I've seen here in in the Philadelphia, Southern Jersey area is this. The things I've seen really increase in price, Springbank and Lagavulin 16. Lagavulin 16 is a $100 bottle around here, whereas a year ago it was 70. That seems consistent with inflation and maybe them jacking the price up a little bit in the tariffs. But there's other stuff that I haven't seen go up nearly as much. I don't know why. Maybe it's just like the amount of people have in stock. I mean, those are heavily bought whiskeys. I don't know. But by that rationale, you'd think you'd see Johnny Walker and other things going up higher in price at the same level as a Lagavulin 16. It's not like the world's only buying that. So I don't know. But yeah, the sooner we can end that, the better, because it is ridiculous. And like, we're all losing out on the ability to get some of the staples. I mean, Springbank 10 is a staple. It's not a luxury item. You know what I mean? It's not a luxury item. Oh man. This Paul John. Fuck. I think I'm going to go into the peat now, but this has got a little bit of peat in it, which is great. It sets the palate just right. Man, that is good. I would say though, like, this is like Springbank. This might not be something that greets everybody. Like, if you like Springbank that has a little bit of that funk, a little bit of that kind of, whatever they say, foostiness to it, like, you're going to get that with this whiskey too, and a lot of other Indian whiskeys for that matter. Like, so expect that. But I kind of feel like, all in all, it's still worth it. But you know, that's the only disclaimer I would put on it. We're gonna go with a little peat. Supernova, maybe. All right. Here's what we're gonna do. Couple peated whiskeys. Ardbeg Dark Cove, and we're gonna do Octomore 6.1. What do you guys got in the glass? Anybody got some peat? Is it peat time already? It's 8 o'clock, but it's probably not time. After I drink this Octomore, I'll be blown out for the rest of the night. There's no way. Fuck around with that for a minute. Let me catch up on the chat, y'all. There you go. Yeah, that's probably the case, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's another one that's like 150. That's too much, man. As much as I love it. I have tried the Paul John Brilliance. It gets better and better in the bottle. It says James Chang. Paul at Select. It's more refined and layered. Nice. Nice. Yeah, I really want to give that a try too. I just want to say I'm not an expert on Indian whiskeys, but I like to learn new things and share my knowledge. Yeah, totally. And you tipped me off that this Christmas thing even existed. So I went and did a little research, and once I saw all the different maturations on this, I had to jump on it. That was a great. We don't see these in the U.S., so thanks for the tip on that for sure. And hopefully everybody here is sharing some knowledge with you too, man. Jack says what you call a staple is high end for most people. Yeah, no doubt. But I'm saying that, like, for a Springbank 10, which was a $55 to $60 bottle a year ago, to go up to $100 a bottle is insane. I mean, that was still an expensive whiskey for 10 years old, but you know what you're getting with Springbank. So yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It's still a luxury item at the end of the day, as is pretty much any whiskey. But the idea that you would go with something that you expect to be kind of at a solid price at that 10-year-old range to increase by like almost 40% in cost in 1 year is nuts. I hope that clears that up. Silverlock Deanston 21 single cask from Archives. I think poured here. I have to still drive to Wally World anymore. Wally World, Dad. About edited, and I'm eyeing the bold and Christmas. Yeah, ringing endorsement here for the Christmas edition if you can find it. Just picked up the NAS cast on from Aberlour. Oh, hey, speaking of, I picked up the Aberlour Abuna Alba at the behest of a couple people, including Dram Dude. Have you had that one, Jack? That is basically the obviously the cast strength Abuna, but it's bourbon. I was not going to buy it. It didn't strike me as something that I should buy, because I was like, why would I buy a bourbon cask Abuna? But a lot of people seem to be saying that it's actually really good. And, you know, I'm a hater on an Aberlour, but not the Abuna. The Abuna is the only thing worth getting so far that I've had. And so this Alba is supposed to be pretty good. Have you tried that? And I'm not sure what the one that you grabbed is all about, but I've seen it. It sounds like another good one, though. What else is going on? Hey, Greg, Whiskey Guide, what's up? Bit busy and late tonight. Didn't notice you were live for an hour. Too bad. That's okay. We've been what have we been doing? So we were sipping. I was sipping this new Paul John. This is the Christmas edition 2020. Absolutely killer. Grab it if you can. Oh, what else? We were talking bourbon. We were talking Indian whiskey. We're talking prices in the U.S. with all the inflation and the tariffs. Well, not all the inflation, all the tariffs. A bunch of other randomness, man. How are you? Hope everything's good in France. For folks who don't know Greg, take a second. Open another window, sub his channel. Greg's got an awesome, awesome whiskey channel. I don't know. I'm not sure that it's an exclusive or not. Basically, it's the Abuna. It's Aberlour at cast strength, but it's Asian X bourbon. Which again, I was not interested in the least. But people were giving some ringing endorsements of it. Dram Dude told me that it was absolutely killer and worth picking up. There were a few folks out there that were chatting about it that said it's just awesome. Yeah, here's Daniel in the chat saying it's a really good pour. Yeah. I mean, why not? I hadn't touched an Aberlour in years, and then finally stumbled across this old batch of the Abuna. The, what is it, batch 60 or something, which is like one of their older ones. Well, older-ish. And it was awesome. So, grabbed that up, and it made sense. I totally get why people like the Abuna. And I'm back on the Aberlour train. I'm willing to check out more of them, I guess. You know, why not? We might as well. On the other hand, this one, so this is the Ardbeg Dark Cove, which I opened up on the Tuesday happy hour. Pretty great. We're going to get into some peat, which is usually for me signifying the final rounds of the evening. And it is only 8:15, so what can you do? Oh, well. If y'all want to hang for just a second, I got to run and get myself a little bit more water. So y'all hold down the fort, all right? I'll be right back. All right, we are back. Thanks for not burning the place down while I was gone, y'all. All right, what's going on here? Oh, yeah. So we're past that. Folks saying hi to Greg. Good. Aberlour Elbow batch 1 was really, oh yeah, it's probably batch 2, right? The batch variation on the Abuna, I've heard, is just like really, really stark and considerable. And like, you kind of got to, like do your, that's one of those whiskeys you got to do your research on, because you might, if you go to the store and there's 2 different batches, it could be the difference between like a stellar pour and something really mediocre. Alba is a U.S. exclusive. Okay. Batman. Malt Reviews approves of Aberlour as well. Oh, yeah, good. That's a great blog. I've read some of their stuff. I think they're just getting into the batch too. He says they don't play. Yeah, no, you're right. They don't. They definitely don't. They're a little less generous than some. That's for sure. Got a lot of Aberlours. Love the older Abuna. My favorite is the batch 46. Okay, I have a batch 60. So I was saying this on the happy hour earlier this week. I went to this store and they had a whole bunch of the like batch 64s or whatever in the new packaging, and then there was this one bottle sitting there, no tube, and it was this batch 60 of the older batch. So of course I'm like Googling, I'm like, what's the difference? Figuring out the difference. And people were kind of hating on that one. And we're like, yeah, batch 60 is a total winner. That's one worth grabbing. In fact, Jason Fisk, I think I went on Malt Reviews and looked at the review that they had of it, if I'm not mistaken. So I snagged that one. And even when I went to the register, the people were like, doesn't this usually come in a tube? And I was like, there was no tube. They were like, that's weird. It was just sitting in the back, like covered, dusty. So I don't know. I guess I got lucky. It's good. I haven't had enough Abuna to make any blanket statements, but like it's just an unrepentant sherry bomb. It doesn't exactly have a ton of complexity to it, but it delivers on just like the full-throated Oloroso in your face. I mean, I don't think it's not Glendronach 18 Allardyce when it has a ton of depth and complexity. It has some, but maybe there are other batches that are even better. I don't know. But what I can tell you is a lot of batch variation, and if you find a good one like this 60, which I think is pretty good, it delivers. The casting is cheap, 48% and not all sherry. Oh, so it's like a mix of ex-bourbon and ex-sherry? Huh. You have to let me know how that is. I might be willing to check that out. Yeah. I'm way behind. Yeah, those Kilcaren 16s are going to be a bitch to get. Oh, buy the Glendronach for sure. Yeah, 135 if you can afford it, man. That's cheap as hell these days. Yeah, for real. I've heard that the Kilcaren 16 is good, but no one is raving. And I hear it is not a lot better than the 12. The new Tunde Oloroso is what I want, but it hasn't come in. So I've heard actually a little bit of mixed reviews on the 10 or the 8 Oloroso. I mean, I'm sure it's great. The 16 I've also heard a little bit like, yeah, this is good, but it's not amazing. There's like a finish on it, if I'm not mistaken. It's like, I don't know if it's like a year or something in Madeira or something like that. Look that up right quick. I do know that this 16-year-old has some type of finish on it. Marsala, 4% Marsala. I mean, that's intriguing. Although I don't know, how does Marsala play with that new make? You know what I mean? Marsala's kind of delicate, creamy, not very assertive. I don't know. I'm not sure how well that would roll with Kilcaren's really like fusty, robust, kind of intense whiskey. find out what else is going on. Yeah. There's always too much good whiskey coming out, that's for sure. Yeah, batch variation's a big thing on the album now, for sure. Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, there's just so many damn releases of that. Yeah, no, man. You should stock up on those, especially if you can get 2019s, because the 2019s, I think, you probably know this already, but those are the ones that are like 24 years old. Fifth's got a couple of those. Right on. Need to just batch from my wee brother. Yeah, he should be giving you some of that, man. James Chang said, I was planning to pick up an Abinah, but was swayed at the end to a Glen Alecky 10 cast strength batch 1. I've not had the 10 batch 1, so sadly I can't speak too much on that. But I don't know. I think if you want the straight, just like heavy, unrepentant cherry bomb, you go with the Abinah. But the Glen Aleckys, I think each 10 is different in its maturations, each of those 10 cast strengths, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not quite sure what you I don't remember what the batch 1 was, but the batch 1 is also cheaper. As long as you like it, it's good. Dude, if you're talking about the Aberlour 16, don't get me started on that. Oh, or you're talking about the Kilcaren. The Aberlour 16 is trash. Total trash. Glen Alecky 10 batch 3 is stand out for anyone. Not sure. I haven't had it. I have batch 4, which is quite good. All right. What else is going on? All right. So I wanted to throw out another question to you guys. I'm in a group on Facebook called Scotch Addicts. I'm sure some of you people are part of the Scotch Addict group. So there's a really fun poll going on about, like, what is your favorite distillery in terms of its present day bottle presentation and basically just kind of style. So, like, for example, like label and bottle shape. Would love to hear in the chat. I'll tell you what mine was in a few minutes, and I'm just going to see if anybody else picks kind of a similar one. But yeah, drop in the chat. Presentation obviously doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but it kind of does at the same time, right? Like, I do like, the excitement of opening a bottle and getting to see the spirit in its bottle and like how it's designed and what's on the labels, all of that. There's a difference, and I think it adds a bit to the experience. Would love to hear in the chat if you guys have specific whiskeys you think just have like the presentation that screams out for you. Ben Demon Hunter's first on that one with Ardbeg. Ardbeg is classic. I think Ardbeg's presentation is more compelling and suitable than even Laphroaig's, for that matter. I mean, this is the Darko, right? I mean, it's the Ardbeg bottle is so damn iconic. Classic. I dig it. We'll see if anybody else has opinions on that. Ooh. That sounds good. Speaking of Deanston's Silverlock, I came across and I just grabbed it. Deanston 1991. It's a 28-year-old Deanston. It's 45% with a Muscat 3-year finish on it. Have you had that one before? If you're if you have a Deanston single cast 21, maybe you've probably had some older Deanstons. I would love to hear if you have any opinions on it. Bruichladdich. Hell yeah. Bruichladdich. So far, Ardbeg and Bruichladdich, yeah, those are good. Those are good picks. Dig the green bottle. Mara with Paul John. Yeah, I mean, like the Paul John bottle. I mean, this looks really nice, right? It kind of like tightens a bit. They have a really nice presentation. I don't know how I feel about the like cursive, but I like their presentation for the most part. It kind of looks elegant, like a la Glenmorangie. New Glengoyne. I haven't seen the new bottle, but I do have some of the old ones. I saw that they now have like the Phoenix or the bird label on it or something like that. I dig it. I really like all of these recommendations. Yeah, Brook Lottie, I really dig their presentation. It's kind of industrial. Like, what is the well, not the black art, but like the Port Charlottes and stuff like that. I really dig their style. I like the old kind of more the rounded bottles that they had. Those are really cool. Silver Lock. Oh, you haven't had that one yet. Okay. So mine was let me see if I can find it. Here's one. I think this is still my favorite presentation of any Scotch is the Balvenie. I love the Balvenie bottle. I love the Balvenie tube. They have this nice kind of like it looks kind of like old. It's got this, matted kind of, it's not like pure white, it's kind of this creamy white. I love the lip and the presentation on these bottles. Balvenie just looks so damn good on a bar. Probably my favorite. And yeah, they're tubes, like they got a shitload of information on most of them. They kind of have this kind of throwback old school vibe. I do love me some Balvenie. So that was my pick, but close behind it are actually a couple that you guys mentioned. Ardbeg. I mean, Ardbeg I think has the best looking presentations of a bottle, and just the bottle style on Isla. Like I think it's the best. Lagavulin though is close, and then yeah, Brook Lottie. Those are all kind of right there. It's a good question. Presentation and quality can differ, but if you ask for my favorite packaging, Kilcaren, Glenmore, Springbank Old, Highland Park. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. No, we're just talking strict presentation. That's actually you bring up a good point. I mean, what is your least favorite? So I mean, it matters, right? Even for folks who are whiskey heads who know better than to trust labels, and advertising fluff. Like at the end of the day, when you're setting up your whiskeys or whatever, you like to have like a decent looking bottle with a decent looking label on it, right? Thank you. Yeah. I learned that if you ever buy a Balvenie 15 single barrel sherry, you should always look at the bottle before you buy it. Some of them are refill and some of them are first fill, and you won't know. But if it's dark, it's the first fill, and if it's not so dark, it's the refill or second fill. It might be second fill. The refill is third fill. So that can make a huge difference on the quality you're getting. And apparently it's arbitrary. They don't really tell you about it on it. So I've made sure to check the bottle if I buy any. Likes the frosted glass of the Octomore Isla barley. Yeah. Craft and Simple Balvenie. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I love the Balvenie. Hope to see Glengoyne 20 or 21 teapot dram. I don't know if they did 2020 because of Corona. Let's see. This is the batch 7 of the teapot dram. I don't know what year it is, though. Do they put a scan on these? Yeah, that's a really nice color, too. Doesn't look like it. Oh, wait. Yeah, they do. No, I think this is 2019. They might not have done one. Did they do a batch 8 in 2020? This has some numbers on it that looks like a date. It looks like it's 11, 28, 19. So maybe not. This might have been late 2019. I don't remember seeing anything about a batch 8. So maybe it exists. Don't know. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't think it's like a must-have, a must-buy, but it's good. I mean, if you want a rum finished Scotch, I feel like they do the balance thing pretty well. Yes, I agree. I've kept a bottle of the Altmore 12 because I'm going to use it for an infinity bottle because I love it so much. If you don't know what it looks like, let me actually just grab it. I mean, this is, and you can see, you know, it's very similar to the Balvenie, but like that is I just love this bottle. Classic style. It's a little bit thicker glass than the Balvenie. It's a little bit more like heavy and industrial looking and rigorous. You know, it's got the embossed Altmore thing on it. This is I like their presentation. I also really like the new Aaron's. The new Aaron presentation, I think, looks really good. It's a lot better than that stuff that they had, which looked like it was from the 90s. Tamdu, yeah, definitely Tamdu. Yep, yeah. Oh, these are all great ones, man. Yeah, Old Paltney, definitely, man. Habiki, I.W. Harper, yeah. Oh man, the I.W. Harper. Yeah, with that, they have that kind of Art Deco thing going on, similar to, but not done as well. The 1792 bourbons, they have a little bit of like Art Deco print on it. But the I.W. Harper 15, man, great call. Yeah, totally. My least favorite was easy. Glen Scotia Range 2015. Yeah. The Glen Scotias were bad. Yeah. No doubt. Those like horrible fluorescent colors and stuff. Yeah. I think like present day, the worst has got to be Glenmoray. Like Glenmoray's the font, the labels, it looks so uninteresting. It looks like a bottom barrel, you know, like bottom shelf bargain single malt, which in a lot of ways it sort of is, but they also have some like really interesting finishes and age stated stuff that like I would want to try. I've not had a lot of them, but man, their labels look like total garbage. Like they need to update that stuff, something serious. I don't understand how they in 2021 are rolling around with that like horrible font on it. I don't know. Maybe y'all disagree with me on that, but I really think they're bad. The Glenmorays. It doesn't even look professionally done, I think is the way I would put it. Speaking of, somebody was mentioning Octomore. You were talking about the Islas with the frost. I do have one of those. I have the 10-3, but I'm gonna actually, you know what? Let's do that one instead. It's more interesting, anyways. I think it was Silverlock mentioning this. This is the Octomore 10.3. This is the 0.3s are those Isla barleys, and they come in, the frosted bottle. I kind of dig that. Nice font. I mean, I like the frost, but I don't like the bottle. The bottle looks like a shampoo bottle to me. I like that it doesn't take up a ton of room on the shelf. I don't like the shape of it, but I like the frosted look of it and, you know, the way the whiskey looks in it. I kind of wish they would have just done something like a frosted Bruichladdich looking bottle, you know. Oh, man. The nose on this. Fantastic. All right. Kick things into high gear with a bunch more peat. Best labels are Compass Box. Oh, yeah, I mean, you're right. Compass Box. Have you ever had the beer? It's from Flying Dog. It's called Flying Dog. Ralph Steadman does the art. He's the guy who used to do the art for Hunter S. Thompson. That's what I think of when I think of Compass Box. Their labels and they're like, it's all super creative. It's got this kind of very distinct style. Yeah, I love that stuff. Just one sec. All right. Okay, you see here now. What else do we got? Yeah, you like the Glenmorangie branding? Really? Come on, man. Really? No way. Okay. Bottle shape is mimicking the stills. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the bottle shape is fun, but I don't know, man. Their labels look like they're from, like somebody made them on their computer who didn't know nothing about making labels. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, like Glenmorangie is one of those distilleries that's just like, we're just going to finish our whiskey in everything we can. Deanston does that too, where they're just like, and Tomatin, there's just like 100 different finished versions of them out there. Chardonnay, that actually sounds pretty good. I'd love to try that. I saw one that was it wasn't a Chardonnay, it was like a Pinot Grigio or something. I don't remember what it was. Like they have one for basically everything. Donner Pass. What's up? Slanch. Nice to see you, man. Glad you could stop in to say hello. We'll have a couple drinks in your honor while you're out there making your scratch. Take it easy, Ben. Good to see you as always, Slancha. Yeah. They're stupidly priced. I mean, I'm amazed. Here's my thing. I was kind of a bear on the Octomore. I was kind of a hater. I was like, why the hell would I pay $250 for 5-year-old whiskey? I still think it's too expensive. I think you can find it if you can get it shipped to you from overseas. There are some websites like Whiskey World, which you can get certain bottles at sub $175, even with shipping. And so I pulled the trigger on a few. I have 3 of them. I have the Octomore 10.3, which is the Isle of Barley. I have an older one, Octomore 6.1. Also, that's a 5-year-old Scottish barley. And then I have the Octomore 10-year-old 4th edition. And I've become a believer. Like they are really damn good. But I wouldn't go over $200 for them. In fact, because here's the thing. So like, for example, with this one, this is the 10.3. So the ppm on this is 114. That's parts per million of peat. The 10-year-old, it's like over 200. You can't taste it. Like this is not that much more intense than a Laphroaig, which is at 35, 40 ppm, and same with Ardbeg. Like at a certain point, you actually physically cannot detect more peat. So like this number advertising that they do just to kind of like hype up how peaty and smoky it is. First of all, this one, this is the 10.3. It's much more sweet than smoky. And yeah, this one's 6 years old, but the ppm at 114, like I don't think it's that much more intense than fucking Aaron Mocker Moore. You can't tell. Like you really can't tell. You may notice that it's a little bit more intense than like a Laphroaig 10, but it's not by the leaps and bounds of what the ppm numbers assert. So it's marketing, in my opinion. But on its merits, this is really, really good. I mean, this is a really intense whiskey. So is Ardbeg Corey Vrecken, which is probably at 40% ppm. This is 114. There's no way, I think, other than the flavors, you could tell the difference in terms of how quote unquote peaty it is. Because the humans can only detect a certain amount of this. So I think this whole thing with Octomore it's brilliant advertising. Peat the shit out. Make it 500 peat. Nobody will be able to tell. But on its merits, outside of its advertising, it's really good. The fact that Bruichladdich can make this is a 6-year-old whiskey, taste the way this does, is a testament to their craft. And they're killers on the craft. This is 61.3% ABV. See, it says super heavily peated. Doesn't matter, but it's a fantastic whiskey in its own right. I can't believe that a 6-year-old whiskey can be this good. You do not detect the youthfulness, and if the youthfulness is there, but it is so brilliantly masked over with the maturation of this. I think this one is all ex bourbon, if I'm not mistaken. It's the 0.2 range where they throw in the wine finishes and stuff. I think this one is all ex bourbon. I mean, it's great, but as far as that whole ppm thing, I think it's all rubbish. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Another one that I think, there's a couple distilleries that I think their labels have went for the worst. Ball definitely. Like, they went away from the colored vintage fluorescent boxes to just like boring standard squat bottles with kind of just like heavy lettering and age statements. Shite. Another one that I don't like, even though it's one of my favorite distilleries, is Ben Romick, which went for this kind of Soviet-esque industrial look. I'm not saying they should have stuck with their old one, which looked kind of like wine bottles, but I don't really like the new one. And on the bourbon side, Hudson, the Hudson Baby Bourbon, or any of those Hudson releases, they've changed their labeling too. It stands out more now, but I liked their old label. Their old labels look really classic. I think they really made a turn for the worse on that. And yeah, as Cohen mentioned, the new Powers labels are totally trash. Yep, they are. Yeah, that's true. I wish I could get Octomore over here. Yeah, I don't know what's the international. Are there tough international shipping rules to get things into India? If not, or if you don't know, let me know, because there are plenty of websites I could send you that may ship to you. This stuff is just fucking off the chain good, though, man. Yeah. Has anybody else had the Octomore 10.3? Old fashioned style. Yeah. Definitely, man. Definitely. Thank you. Yes, they're really bad. As you probably saw, I have a bunch of old Glenmorangies up here. Like, even though, Glenmorangies have stayed consistent. Those are probably from 20 years ago. And they're all in relatively, they're very similar. They don't have that same bottle shape, but they're kind of similar. But some of these have changed so much. The old Paltneys, right? You compare this is the old style of the old Paltney releases. It kind of had its own shape. It had a distinct look, and now, or is that 15 or whatever? You look at this is what they changed it to. If you haven't seen them yet, now they look like this. It's just a fucking indescript box. It's a flimsy box with a weird top on it. They're hard to open. They kept the bottle shape the same, which is cool because they do have a really great looking bottle. Come on, right? I get that they're trying to modernize, but you go from this iconic shaped tube to just a squat standard box. I don't know. Maybe I'm just old school, but I think it's kind of trash. And this is what scares me because Old Paltney is owned by Edgerton Group, which is the same group that owns Ball Blair, where they changed a bunch of their labeling, and they own Enoch. And so Enoch still looks in its same minimalist style, but I have a feeling that it's not going to stay that way for much longer. And they're going to start doing the exact same thing with them. Start changing it to look like some type of weird goofiness. I don't know. I love the old Paltneys, man. I just think they looked a lot better. Now it just looks like any other whiskey. Got only one Octomore, quite old, quite harsh too. Oh, which one do you have? I'd love to know. Interesting. Why is that? All of mine are UK only, but why would you only buy them in the UK? Because of the price? Peter White saying, hi. I forgot about the PPM story. A lot of marketing tricks there. Yeah, I'll do that. But yeah, you probably agree with me. I mean, I was on I'm part of the Philadelphia Whiskey Society, and we had a rep on from Diageo who was talking about, among tons of other things, we were talking about like Lagavulins and older Lagavulins and the white horse Lagavulins and all that. And she basically told us, like, yeah, like we could, because somebody was asking, like, Ardbeg and Laphroaig are a little bit more heavily peated in a certain way. And they're like, look, it's been proven that after like 30 to 35 ppm, I think is what she said, don't quote me on that, like the human tongue can't actually pick up more intensity as far as peat goes. So it doesn't really matter. And there are a lot of whiskeys that are lower ppm, but more quote unquote peat intense, just because of the quality of the barrels that they're in, the amount of smokiness that they have. Like Lagavulin doesn't have as much peat per se, but it has a lot more smoke. People get those two things they think they're the same when they're not. I used to think they were the same. So yeah, I mean, this whole thing with the Octomore is whatever. I mean, this is not smoky. Like it has some smoke, but this is like Laphroaig or Ardbeg is way smokier than this. You do get the peat, but again, like if you poured this next to a Corey Vrecken, which is, I guarantee you, 75% less ppms of peat, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Oh, wow. The 11s have went up. Yeah, like everything, right? PPM are given in most of the time before design. Yeah. Oh, right. Oh, right. That's clever too. That's really clever. If you can say more about that, Greg, like how a whiskey would actually lose parts per million. Like there's a certain amount of peat that you measure about, like, we're going to dry this barley with X amount of peat, and therefore it's going to impart X amount or Y amount of ppm's worth of peat. But then actually through the process, it probably it lowers itself, right? And so if you put in enough to say this will be a 120 ppm's, but after it's actually lit on fire and smoked, or burned rather, like it's actually not. It's going to actually only impart 80% or 80 ppm's or something like that. Oh, self-add yourself, man. We all love you, man. Don't you worry. If there's anybody in here that's not subscribed to you already, like, I'm not sure what to say about that. Y'all open up another window. Subscribe to Greg's Whiskey Guide. He's our good friend from France. Yeah. Yeah, man. The old packaging, the new packaging of Ballblairs is so boring. Like, what attracted me to Ballblair was like, again, the vintages and the weird fluorescent boxes. Now it's just like Ballblair 18, Ballblair 15. I don't know. I mean, maybe they're going to make more money on it, but That's true. I did. Yeah, that was a really, really great doc. I'd recommend it. Man, I'm way behind. Burn Four Roses. Love them. Yeah, especially the private selects if you can find them. They're fucking awesome. I don't think Hudson's that good, but this is a train pour anyways. This Peter White. Oh boy, they're piling on. Yeah, I mean, I don't love it. The change in their branding has been so fucking stark that I was like, ooh. I got one of my friends. He's not a big like whiskey drinker, but like he loves the Hudson Baby bourbon. I keep trying to get him off of it, and he's just steadfast. He's just like, that's his jam, and I'm like, no, man, like seriously, try this bottle of Old Tub. It's freaking amazing, and it's a third of the price. He ain't having it. It's all good though, People like what they like. Yeah, man. This 10.3 Octomore is fucking. I don't even know. It's unbelievable that this is a 6-year-old whiskey. So they did. I mean, you've seen that they changed the Wild Turkey single barrel, right? The Kentucky Spirit, where it used to be literally shaped like the turkey's feather thing, where it was kind of like, it's like ridged and then goes out. It literally looked like a turkey. Now it's like some boring thing. Let me see. Yeah, so I have one here. This is a cool one though, that I overpaid for. So this is what the new Kentucky Spirit looks like. I love the bottle shape, but the label looks, I don't know, it looks kind of off, right? This gold plated thing on the single barrel. I like the writing on the bottle. This one in particular, I got at the Wild Turkey Distillery. It's a barrel pick by, is it Eddie or Jimmy Russell? It's an Eddie Russell pick, so master distiller pick. Of course, it was like triple the price, and I bought it because, I'm at Wild Turkey. What am I going to do? But they don't have the turkey on this one anymore. Like, it's totally gone. It just says Wild Turkey. There's no turkey on this. Whereas the last single barrel, it was like shaped like a turkey. Maybe they're realizing that it was a little corny. I don't know. I said, fun. You have those early Glenmosters. Yeah, those are all 12-year-olds from probably about 20 years ago. Burgundy wood, there's a Madeira, there's the Sherry wood, which is now the La Santa, and there's a port, which is now the Quinta Ruben. But they haven't done a Madeira or Burgundy wood like in their range anymore. But yeah, I like it. Epic Habanero, Lancero, and Will Estate Rye. Lost Cause! What's up in the bayou, brother? He's getting after it. Hate this anonymous sanitized grayish bottles. Which one are you talking about? The Glenmo? No, you're not talking about Glenmo. Yep, and packaging change soon, plus prices after. Yeah, I talked about that. My whiskey of the year, if y'all haven't seen the video, is this one right here, man. Annock 24. I mean, this is a 24-year-old whiskey, right? It's the exact same tube that the 12 comes in. It's the exact same tube as the 18. Compared to this Highland Park 21, which is like takes up a quarter of my shelf. It's just ostentatious as hell. They got this goofy bottling, all their Viking stuff on it. I mean, maybe people are into it, but like, this is going to change. I'm telling you, it's coming, and they're going to jack up the price. This is a $200 bottle right now. It's the best heavily aged whiskey on the market for the price. $200 or less. 24-year-old and up. Get it if you can. But it's going to change. I totally agree. I bet you we will not be able to find them in a year probably. They're going to be looking like that. This is like, look at how magnanimous the Highland Park is, or whatever. Yeah, if I could find a 5.1, I would. I have a 6.1, but yeah. Yep, agreed. I'm gonna call Peter White out on the mat here. So I swear to God, for months, Peter White has brought up this Annock 1975 he has. This is one of his coveted bottles. I've yet to see what this looks like. You need to email me a picture of it so I can at least see what it looks like, because I want to know as much as I can about this bottle. I'll never have. Malt.muser@gmail. Take a pic, Peter. Send it to me. I got to see this bad boy. 1975 Enoch that this guy's got sitting around, man. Amazing. Yeah. I'm with you on that. Glenfiddich is always going to be the Glenfiddich bottle, right? I mean, it's been that way since, what, the 60s, 50s? Over here, we get very limited variety of whiskeys available compared to other countries. Yeah, I believe it. But what are your international shipping laws? Have you looked into that at all? Because you might be able to have things shipped to you. I don't know what the rules are between, like, you know, the Eurozone or the UK specifically and India, but there's a lot of these websites that'll ship. You know, they ship worldwide, and they might, you know, you might be able to find some stuff online, bud. Left bookshelf greater than right bookshelf. Oh, your left or mine? There's also another shelf which I don't even actually think comes up in the view on the video, where I got a bunch of ryes and rums on that side and a whole bunch of just random Japanese and other bourbons and scotches on that side. I'm assuming I'm just going to guess. I'm going to assume Lost Cause is talking about this side with the ball blares and the Springbanks. Probably. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Molasses. What's up? The quick stream has turned into a 2-hour stream. And we're drinking Pete now, man. How are you? Happy Friday. I am going to have to figure out something else to drink, though. What do you do after you drink Octomore? I don't know. Maybe I just go for another Octomore. Yeah. No, it's definitely the case. The ppm thing is, it doesn't matter. There you go. So you agree then, Greg, that like 180 ppm in terms of its actual like flavor influence is not, it doesn't actually have an effect. Like, you can only taste so much, Pete. ML user. Yeah, but long story short, the measure on the packaging is just after malting. There is a lot of loss, 30%. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Kenzie is the good New York brand, not Hudson. Yeah, it is. That's their whole thing. It's 100% corn. Another a decent New York bourbon, but they source it, is Widow Jane. I have a 12-year-old sword pick Widow Jane that's pretty solid. Do a head-to-head between. Oh, I could. I'll be right back. Give me a second. All right. So we were called on the mat. Let's do it. I have a look here. I have a Laphroaig 10 cast strength, which I've already said is my favorite Laphroaig and my favorite, I think, the quintessential Isla. This is an older one, though. This is batch 4. So this is from 2012. 10 years old, 58.6% non-chill natural against the Octomore, 10.3, which is 114 ppms. This is probably 35 or 40. So I'll pour some of this just to see if we can like tell the peat difference. Now I've already had the Octomore, so like obviously, if I don't, I would assume by the logic of Octomore being 100, that one being 120, some of them being even like 200, that I should taste literally no peat on this at all after I've scorched myself with this. So we'll see. Laphroaig 10 cast strength. Oh shit! This is batch 4. So it's an old cast strength Laphroaig. My hypothesis here is that this is better. Right? 6-year otter, 10-year Laphroaig. I'll tell you right now. Let me get a little bit more of this Octomore in the glass. I can tell you this right now. This Laphroaig is much smokier. That's the Laphroaig. This is the Octomore. This is way smokier, the Laphroaig. Again, this is maybe 40 ppm parts per million peat. This is 120. Much sweeter. It smells more like sweet corn grain, like this is much earthier, deeper, like darker, more depth, which makes sense. All right. Since I just did the Octomore tasting, but here's the deal. The hypothesis here is that this is not going to be peatier on the palate than the Octomore. Here we go. No. Oh my God, it's so intense. First of all, this is better. I'm just going to mention, despite that Octomore being off, this is better. You can't tell the difference. Don't believe anybody that thinks that you can tell the difference. Oh man. So here's what I would say. Here's what I would say. This is more like I got to use my words wisely here. This is more, it's more the essence. Like it's much more straight up peaty, whereas this, there's a little bit more flavor to it. It's obviously two different types of, like a little bit different sourced, the peat's different. This has a little more mint to it, but in terms of the intensity, let me just go back in on the Octomore here, just to make sure I'm right. Because what we're trying to say here is we're talking about the intensity of the peat. Again, this Octomore is probably about 70 to 80 parts per million more in ppm. Now, they're both really intense, heavily peated, in your face. But I'm telling you, there is no way that this whiskey is, what would it be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times more intense in terms of its peatiness than that Laphroaig 10 caster. There's no way. So it's BS. You heard it here latest. It's BS. In terms of the amount of peat ppms is not an indicator of how intense, smoky, or otherwise that the whiskey is. It's just not. And I think we just proved it. I can't tell the difference. Like, I can tell the difference in the flavors. But to say that this much more peat equates more smokiness, definitely not. The Laphroaig is much smokier than this Octomore. And to say it has more of that effervescent intensity on the palate, no, it doesn't. This Laphroaig is every bit as intense on the palate, and that's because we literally can't detect it. So that's all I got. I'm going to stop talking like I'm some scientist. Fantail on the wild turkey. Yeah. Yeah. Just chilling, he says. Good. Yep. Get 2. Yeah, man. It was a little bit out of the blue this week. It started off with a bunch of Paul John, man. I was going into this Paul John Christmas edition, and now we're drinking a bunch of heavily peated whiskeys. Oh wow, yeah. Check the website. The peaty shelf. Well, but I have a Lagavulin Jazz Fest over here. There's a Lagavulin 12s, but that's the only the peaty ones I got over there. I had to move them for reasons, but I still think you're right. I would take this shelf. Plus, I got a whole bunch of Compass boxes down there that are new and awesome. I would love to grab that one for those. Miss the Octomore chat. Have a sample of 8.3. Oh man, nice. Do that. Don Holland, what's up? Lagavulin 12 CS is no slush. No, it is not. Laphroaig is the king of Isla and always has been when it comes to peat power. Hey, all I'm saying is I'm being humble about this because that's my MO. Here's my statement. Octomore from Bruichladdich prides itself on advertising its parts per million of peat. This one in particular is quite low for an Octomore. This is the 10.3. It's 114. I have the 10-year Octomore up there. That's 167 or something. The Laphroaig 10 cast strength. A few more years older. This is 6. This is 10. Less ABV. That's 61.3. This is 58.6. Batch 4 from 2012. In general, Laphroaig is considered around the 30 to 35 ppms. Maybe at cast strength, it's closer to 45. In terms of the peat intensity, you cannot tell the difference between the two. You can tell the difference of a lot of other things, but you can't. And that's because human beings literally cannot taste beyond a certain ppm level of peat. So Octomore's whole thing about how it's the most heavily peated, which it is legitimately, and therefore what that makes us think that it's going to be the smokiest or most intense or whatever is not true. It's just not. And I'll tell you right now, this is a better whiskey. It's a better whiskey. I'll go to the mat on that. It's ex-bourbon. I think the 10.3 is Oxford. The 0.2 versions of the Octomore are the more like experimental ones, as far as I know. That's where they introduce like the wines, like you get with some of the special port charlottes and stuff. It doesn't say here explicitly on the bottle, but I think if you look it up online, again, man, Octomore 10.3 is fucking killer. But consider this, right? Consider this out in the real world. Your average Bruichladdich Octomore release is around $250 USD. Your average Laphroaig 10 cast strength is around 65 to 70 USD. There's no difference in intensity. I think the complexities they're different in style, but the complexities are both exist for both. Laphroaig 10 cast strength wins. If you have to choose one or the other, and you're the allure of this Octomore and its crazy PPMs is driving you in, nah, man. Just get yourself a Laphroaig 10 cast strength. It's the best thing they make. You can't go wrong. You'll never be disappointed. It's the best damn Isla whiskey you can get, and I'll go to the mat on that one. So I'll get off my soapbox. But you heard it. That is fucking killer, man. Yes. Yeah, basically, that's true. I agree with you. They are travel retail exclusive. Yeah, they are. The 11.2 in particular, yeah, I think they're all travel retail, but you can find them online. They're damn good. Again, like I have the 10-year-old, it's the 4th edition, which is higher PPM than even the 10.3 and the 6.1, which I have, in terms of its peat. You can't taste it. Like you cannot, it is not 5 or 6 times more peaty intense on the palate than the Laphroaig 10 cast strength. It's just not. So, if you buy it for its flavor, buy it because of that. Don't buy it because you think it's going to be like the next best thing in peat bombs, because it's not. It's just, you can't taste it. Like we just physically cannot taste it. Yeah, I agree, Cohen. DH Silv, what's going on? Yeah, it is all bourbon. Yep. How you doing, man? Happy Friday. There's a difference in PPM in the end product and yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah, totally. Yeah, with you. And I agree with Jack too. Dude, yeah. I would put Laphroaig 10 cast strength up against any Isla whiskey. It will hold its own in court. Now, batch variation is real, but it's not about the peatiness, like how much parts per million. This one is, as I was saying, this is the one that I just did the blind or the tasting sample here. This is from 2012. This is batch 4. I mean, it's fantastic, but like the batch 10, the batch 12, they're all really good. And you're talking $65 to $80 max. It's the best Isla whiskey you can get. If you can get no other, this is the one I would jump on my boat with. And if I could only have one on the deserted island, give me a Laphroaig 10 cast strength. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, exactly, DH. Exactly. The 9.3, that was an Isla barley with wine casks? Okay. Good to know. Yeah, you bet, Greg. Yep, they are travel retail. So there's an 11.2 out, which has got like 2 different wine finishes, I think. I haven't had it yet, but would love to try it. To be honest, really, you don't really compared to. I mean, it's better than the 9 and the 8. I don't know if there's any doubt about that. I mean, again, horse apiece, right? Whatever. I'd be curious what your favorite Octomores are, though. Let's see what else is going on. Where's the Laphroaig Kratz getting $50? I'll buy this case. 50 is generous. I think sometimes you can find it for 65. I mean, but I'm on the East Coast, so maybe in other places it's a little bit cheaper. Are you serious? If this is true, Next time you're at the liquor store, you got to take a picture or email it to me at malt.muser@gmail. Are you serious? The cask strength 10 is less than the regular 10? I've never seen that. If that's the case, then, man, I'm going to have to take a little trip to Ohio. Fuck. That's incredible. I mean, but again, it's a testament, again, to the overall point. Fuck around with Laphroaig 10 cask strength and find out. It's the best. It's the best heavily peated smoky Islay you can get. I think it's better than the Laphroaig 18. I think it's better than the Laphroaig 25. I think it's better than the Laphroaig Lore. I think it's better than the Laphroaig 15. It's perfect, and it's everything you want. It's the quintessential Islay Scotch, and you get something different every year, and it's affordable. There's no reason to buy the regular 10, especially if that's the case in Ohio. What's up, Austin Gardner? TN after tax, it's up around 55. Yeah, buy 3. What makes Octomore so great is insanely well. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Like it's amazing what they can do with young distillate. I mean, we're talking about I mean, the 10.3 is 6 years old, though the 6.3 is 5 years old. Yeah, totally. I'm 100% with you, man. Nobody can screw around with their batch. I mean, there's no reason that a whiskey that young should be that good. If Laphroaig or Ardbeg or Kalila release something like that, distillery branded, not indie, there's no way it would be nearly as good as the Octomore. There's no way. I'm totally with you on that. Yeah, we're all gonna go have a party at Dustin's place because dude's got a line on $53 bottle Laphroaig 10 cask strength, man. Can you put about 10 of us up for the weekend, man? That sounds like a party I can afford. Silverlock. Yeah, okay. Silverlock's not playing tonight. Yeah, no, Ohio doesn't ship. One of my favorite Octomores is the 10.4, which is 3 years old. You're talking... Is that the 10.4? Oh, okay. Okay, I know what you're talking about. I for a second I got that confused with the 10 the 10-year-old 4th edition release, which was like the same year. Yeah, no, Ardbeg 10 over Laphroaig 10 for sure. But dude, if you can get yeah, no, for $60, that's crazy. No, yeah. What are you gonna do? You know, people don't seem to have caught on to it or something. I mean, so we did some. Yeah, we're hanging out in the peat world. We did the Dark Cove. We did some Laphroaig. We did some Octomore. You know what? I'm just going to grab another Octomore because fuck it. All right. Let's see here. Yeah. So just for like a point of reference on the ppm thing. So the 10.3 Octomore we were just doing was 119, right? And we already kind of tried to demonstrate how the ppm levels are not actually detectable. But what we got here, this is another Octomore. This is 6.1. This is Scottish barley. Forgive me just 1 second. I'm in the process of flipping a bottle of Knob Creek 15-year-old bourbon because some people are all about paying crazy money for that. So, okay. Brian, just give me a second. Telling you, man, these bourbon people, dude, you like we were talking about earlier tonight, man. You can really Like they will go to the mat for bourbon in a way that I don't quite understand. I mean, I would maybe do this for Scotch. These people are just, they're hypes. Anyways, so we're going to toss another Octomore. I don't really feel like doing the 10-year-old. I think what we're going to do here, this is the Octomore 6.1. This is from a couple of years back. Now, this one's 5 years old, and it's 167 ppm. So in theory, this is, you know, another 25% higher ppm than the 10.3 that we were drinking. There's no way I'll be able to tell the difference, and there's no way anybody else will, I think. It's just how it is. This is Scottish barley, so it doesn't have the Islay barley. It's similar to like the way Port Charlotte does it, where there's the Scottish barley, Islay barley, all that. Oh man, it's incredible nose, nice and sweet, bubblegum, fruity, all of that. One sec, y'all. Sorry. Handle this real quick. Let me see where we're at here. Oh, I was misread. Yeah, no, it definitely won't last forever. Yeah, for sure. This Octomore 6.1 is freaking killer. The bourbon notes and the balance between the bourbon notes and the heavy peat on the development on this is just stellar. Fuck. Can't mess around with it. Yep, they are. Have you had the Laphroaig 18? Besides, no, wait. What about Weller Special Reserve or Weller Antique? Come on, you gotta throw that one up in the mix. Or what's that other one? The other, like, you know, pedestrian bourbon that people like spend way too much on. Elmer T. Lee. Elmer T. Lee's got to be up there with you on that one too. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, Whiskey Ace? Nice to see you, buddy. Good to have you in the house. All right, Maher's finally going to bed. He's had a long night. It's got to be 7 in the morning. Thanks for hanging out, man. It was good to hang out. You get yourself some rest, brother. And thanks for hanging out and chatting, man. It was a lot of fun. And again, this whole stream started because he tipped me off on this bad boy, Paul John, Christmas edition 2020. Thank you for the notification on that. And I'll tell you, man, it's gonna be hard for this not to crack my top 5 whiskeys of the year. It is that good. Weller's, yeah, whatever. CYO, whatever. No, it's not good. Elmer T. Lee is fine. It's fine. Like, it's fine in the way a Four Roses small batch is fine. The fact that people are spending $250 on that stuff is just it's just insane. I don't get it. I don't know what it is. Because it's not even a weeder, right? Like, I get the weeder, right? People are into the bourbon bubble and they're going to drink the weeders because it's like less complex and more quote unquote smooth and it tastes so delicious and decadent and all that. But Elmer T. Lee is not even a weeder. So that one I don't get. Nor the E.H. Taylor barrel proof and how much people are willing to spend on that. But, you know, this is the world we live in. Yeah, it's It's beyond overrated. It's probably the most overrated whiskey compared to its secondary price that exists, other than maybe Weller Special Reserve. Or, well, we can't. No. Let me take that back. Blanton's regular Blanton single barrel, which is a $60 whiskey in normal times, is going for over $200 in secondary markets right now. Regular Blanton's, not Blanton's Gold, not Blanton's straight from the barrel, not Blanton's Green from Japan. We're talking literally regular old Blanton single barrel. People are paying over $200 for that. Look, what? I wouldn't pay over 80 for that. I wouldn't pay over 70 for that. Not that it's bad, but like, give me a break. Pilgrim, what are you doing up so late? Good to have you in the house, buddy. Pappy 20 is the most overrated, says DH Self. I mean, are we saying vis-a-vis price? Stag Junior, which I see going over 200, is got to be close. And again, Elmer T. Lee, I don't know. I mean, the Pappy prices are so exorbitant. I kind of feel you, but like Blanton's single barrel, bro. I'm not even kidding. I mean, I'm sure this isn't the way it is around you, but here in PA, dude, people are buying Blanton single barrels for like over $200, like the straight up single barrel. It's insane. Weller Special Reserves over $100. Weller 12s over 200. Bourbon boom, man. Out of Buffalo. Here's the thing about Stag Junior. It started out really bad, but it got better. Like if you have earlier batches of Stag Junior, they were so hot and disorganized. I know that some of the newer batches are good, but they're not $220 good, right? Like I had a batch 7 and a batch 6, and I got them at retail, and they were trash for the most part. Like compared to Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, they were, weak as hell. They were all over the place, disjointed. They had no core at all. They were just messy. Now I know the newer ones are better, but I don't know, man. $200 some better. People would be hyped on that. Yeah. If I could put a check mark plus thumbs up on that, I would agree with you. Dude, yeah, as I was saying earlier, Silverlock, like if you really need a weeder in your life, you can get a fucking bottle of Larceny barrel at barrel proof. This one, for example, 57%. So 12 more ABV. This is a $50 bottle. But people want to buy that Weller, man. People need that Weller in their lives. Special Reserve, fucking trash, dude. That's so ridiculous. It's not that it's a bad whiskey, but God, the fact that anybody would pay over $40 for that blows my mind. Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, that's a buy. Ben, in fact, if you can go back tomorrow, I'll send you the money. No. The only Blanton's really worth your money is Blanton straight from the barrel. And on secondary market, it's so overpriced, it's not worth it. You shouldn't pay over like 120 for that. And I would go 120 for it. Everything else, dude, the hype is so it's taken on a life of its own. Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, I mean, if you have Old Scout MGPs, yeah. There's a huge difference. The MGP Old Scouts are good. Man, this Octomore 6.1 is really fantastic. Really sweet. And then, but the thing is, unlike the 10.3, it just transitions really well. You get a nice earthy peaty smokiness coming out of the back end of that development. Really, really good. One of the better that I've had. I've not had a ton of them, but this one's a winner. Solid. At Malt Muser, a lot of people like Stag Junior Batch 12 over the 2019 George C. Stag. I mean, I have a hard time believing that. I mean, maybe they did, but like, are they taking price into it? Unless you get, I mean, obviously, if you get a BTEC Stag at MSRP, you buy without hesitation. But outside of that, I would never buy it. Again, like, it's bourbon, and you know, whatever. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it. The range, like when you compare a Stag Junior to a George C. Stag, the amount of space between that, then compared to say your average single malt in terms of its quality and complexity, it's much tighter on the bourbon, I would say. All day. That's not even a question. Yeah, I'm totally with you. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof is the best bourbon you can get, period, when you take price into consideration. Can't fuck with it. Sub $80 most of the time. It punches way above its weight. It has all the deliciousness and complexity of a Stag Junior, but it's way less in price. And they consistently put out good releases. I don't think there's much better. And again, like, that's my limit. I personally have a hard time with the concept of throwing down more than $100 on any bourbon ever. I've done it twice. I went 105 on a Jefferson's Ocean cast strength. It was really good, but it's not worth $105. I'm forgetting what the second one was Orphan Barrel Rhetoric 24. Boy, did I learn the hard way on that. Thankfully, I just sold it tonight at a profit, because that was trash. Total trash. Over oaked, just like any bourbon is that has a high age statement for the most part. There are exceptions, but the bourbon industry knows it, man. Like, an 18-year-old bourbon is, no, you don't want that in your life. It's oaked. They have to water it down to make it not so oaky because of the climate. And, that's what you get. So, yeah, I'm with you, Cohen, 100%. I would take Elijah Craig. I'll take any release of an Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, probably over any Stag Junior. But, again, there are good Stag Juniors and not so good. The newer ones that have come out on the Stag Junior are a lot better than the releases from like 2 years ago, no doubt. I mean, I don't know maybe. If that's the case, then, that's worth it. Maybe. 150 though? I don't know, man. Think about all the alternatives in bourbon you have, and think about the quality difference between a Stag Junior release. Again, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Even at the high end of secondary market, unless it's an Old Dusty, what are you looking at? 120? Is it that much less quality? I wouldn't say so. I think people are hyped on it because of the name. I've seen it. I've seen batch 12s and batch 13s of the Stag Junior go for over 200. Like, people, like in Fireballs, people are willing to throw down $20 a number on that. I think that's just like, who would pay that much for a bourbon? I don't know. Somebody, I guess. Anyways, I'm way behind. You cannot get Larceny Barrel Proof LMFAO. What do you mean you can't get Larceny Barrel Proof? Also, it doesn't taste all like what? Yes, it does. I mean, it tastes like a high proof. What do you mean it doesn't taste like a weeder? I know it's only 25%, but come on, really? Compared to Weller? Weller's not, I mean, Weller's what, 30, 33? I don't know, man. I don't know if I agree with you on that. The point being, though, but the overall point is the idea that, like, even if you take Larceny's regular store release, which is a $20, $25 bottle, it is not 4 times less in quality than a Weller Special Reserve, which is going for upwards of $100 on secondary. So I don't know. I mean, maybe. Yeah, totally doable. I agree. Yeah, I mean, grab the gold if you can, but dude, These prices are out of control on this stuff. Dude, Dustin, let's do it. Let's go halvesies on a bottle of straight up Blanton's, and let's do a review. And at the end of it, we can just like smash the fucking bottle like the grenade it wants to be, and watch it explode on the ground and be like, you people paying upwards of $200 for this are out of your minds. This is not good. Yeah, straight from the barrel. The straight from the barrel Blanton's is one of the best bourbons I've ever had. But again, it's about the price. Put that on your calendar, Dustin. Let's make it happen. I don't think there's anything else to add to that. Exactly. At Malmeser. Jason from Magentrum blinded me with the GTS in junior. It was so close that I had water, and then the JTS won it for me, but legit. Yeah. Okay. Blind doesn't lie. Speaking of, thanks to my wonderful Patreon supporters, which again, I appreciate you all. And if anybody is interested, I'll drop the link in the chat. You know, a little bit goes a long way in terms of keeping this show going. So I appreciate you guys all. But just recently, thanks to the Patreon folks, I got myself a box of Glencairn's 4-year-old, or their 4-year-old. I got a set of 4 Glencairn's completely solid black glasses, man. So I'm going to, and I got a bunch of stickers, so I'm going to be doing some blind tastings now and using these as a way to just kind of like do some blind videos. So as Dustin was just alluding to, you know, ultimately, I think when you go blind, that's when you know for sure what you think about something. You know, you don't have any other influences. So I got some glasses to do just that. I'm going to roll these out in a couple of videos pretty soon. I'm going to do a bracket of sherry whiskeys. I'm going to do some rye whiskeys with these. Again, thanks everybody for the support on Patreon, which helped me kind of get over the hump and pick these up. But this is going to be a lot of fun. I think a set of these was around $75. But basically, I'm going to work things out with people who send me samples. We'll be able to use letters and numbers to kind of identify what these are, and then we're going to do some live blind samples, man. This is going to be so much fun. I encourage you guys to grab them. You can get them on Amazon if you don't have them, but it's going to be fun. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, exactly. 100%. Hey, cheers, Greg. Thanks for hanging out, buddy. Take good care. I'd never let you send me that rhetoric. I love highly oak sweet bourbon. I'd have let you send me. Oh, no, I sold it. Shit sucks, man. They have to water it down in order to even like make it palatable. I don't know. I mean, if you're into it, that's fine. I'm not hating. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just, for me personally, it didn't quite do it. And I don't, you know, I can spend that money on scotch. Have you had a lot of the orphan barrels, by the way? I'd be curious which ones you really liked. And if you liked highly oaked, look for the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch C920. The latest one that they put out in September of last year. It was one of the oakiest, driest, most tannic Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs I've had in a long time. You might like that if that's your palate. Yeah. Never go for best prices. But you can find batch 15 junior for under, say 125. I'll just do it. I'd say do it just for education. I mean, 125 is like right around that equilibrium point. Yeah, I mean, I won't spend that much more over bourbon ever. I just don't think that you get exponentially that. I mean, okay, other than a BTAC or some type of like crazy limited release or some old Stitzel Weller bottle. Obviously, there are exceptions, but no, I'm with you on that. Cheers, Cohen. Yeah, these are going to be fun, man. I can't wait to roll them out. I'm putting together a blind sherry bracket, which I'm going to do in April. All of March, I'm going to do Irish whiskeys. And so after that, I'm going to do like a sherry bracket thing where I just do like Oloroso finished whiskeys, and I'm going to try them blind. It should be a lot of fun. Oh, let's see what else is going on. Oh, Ben Demon Hunter's back. Man, that's a dark horse whiskey right there. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of a lot of those whiskeys that came out in that Game of Thrones series. The Lagavulin was solid. But that Dalwhinnie, I think, was probably one of the best. Wait, who can trade it away? Stag June. Oh yeah, I'm game. Email me, or I'll email you. Let's talk. I'm game for that for sure. Definitely interested. I've had the Rhetoric 22 in Barterhouse and Lost Prophet 22. Lost Prophet is probably the best. And the Rhetoric, I can't pick. Okay. Yes, they are. Andrew Page, what's up? Have you opened any of your new Springbanks? No, I haven't opened the Madeira and I have not opened the rum, but I literally just got them, so they're on the list. I'm excited to drink those. That rum is going to be the one that convinces me that Scotch can have a good rum finish, or rum maturation for that matter. Because obviously we've had a lot of misses with that of late. And, you know, I know you were tuning in when Telex and I did a bunch of tastings on that. Good to see you, man. Glad you could hang out. We need to talk sample swaps, by the way, brother, because you need to have this Paul John Christmas Edition 2020 in your life. We should talk sample swaps. Email me. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. My favorite bourbon, honestly, is store picks of Knob Creek, 15-year-old store picks of Knob Creek, which are like $50 to $60. It's a sweet spot for bourbon, maybe a little bit on the more age side, but like, I mean, there's just, unless it's a BTAC, man, I'm just not willing to go. Like I said, I overpaid on a whiskey once, and it was or on a bourbon, I think, and it was the Jefferson's Ocean Cask Strength. And honestly, it's really good. It's not worth the price, but it's really good. Other than that, no, I'm with you. Like, I don't know. There's not enough difference. I mean, you can get a bottle of Evan Williams single barrel for like $30. It's a really good whiskey. Or a Four Roses single barrel for $40. Like, Four Roses single barrel is one of the best fucking bourbons you can get, in my opinion. But it's all opinion, I guess. Okay, got that. DH still says that moment user. Oh, so Magic Cast from Compass Box. You hunting that? No, I'm not hunting it. But I'd love to have it. I do have a couple new Compass Boxes, which I'm going to check out. So I got this one. This is the Hedonism Felicitas. This is that 20th anniversary version, 53%. And then I got the Peat Monster Arcana, which I'm sure is going to be probably okay. The Peat Monster's fine, but I'm looking forward to it. But no, I don't know. I have not had the Magic Cast, but I've seen some people talking about it. Add Four Roses special releases too. Oh yeah, for sure. I got one right here. This is a OBSQ 11 years, 2 months. It's my favorite batch because it's high rye. I like the B rye. Yeah, this one is 59%, 59.2. Yeah, you can't fuck with the Four Roses single batches. They're amazing. Which one? Tell me which one you think is worth it, because those are like upwards of $170 to $200 in some places. I'd be curious if you have a specific, like there's the 11.5 and then the 13. And my guess is the 11.5 is probably better, but I don't know. Yeah, no, do send me an email, man. You have to have this. So as the whole premise of this show was to taste this Paul John. This is ex-bourbon, Oloroso, and virgin cask, and it has a little bit of peated malt in it. 46% non-chill filtered. It is killer. I don't know how it doesn't make my top 5 whiskeys of the year. It's so good. Oh, the Arcana? Yeah, email me, man. I'll happily send you a sample. We could do a sample swap if you want. I mean, I'm happy to mail you one. I haven't opened it yet, but yeah, glad to. This is Mall yeah, Cream of Kentucky, King of Kentucky retails $250. Wow, 1,207. Yeah, email me at malt.muser at whiskey or at whiskey at Gmail. At Gmail. I'd happily send you. I have a couple Four Roses picks if you're into that. And then also, yeah, I'd happily send you a sample of the Arcana, man. I was hyped about it. I mean, it was around $80. I was super hyped when I saw it. I mean, I haven't had a couple Compass box. I didn't really have any Compass of the new Compass boxes in 2020 or the latter half of 2019. So, yeah, if you're interested, shoot me an email. Yeah. Dude, the Four Roses single barrel, which is a high rye mash bill, 35% rye. Just the standard store release is awesome. Even it's at 50% ABV. You should get it. I think it's the best Four Roses you can get. The small batch is also really good. It does. I know it's a little bit more on the price tag. I mean, you're looking at another $20. I think it's worth it if you're really looking to buy a good bourbon. It's one of the bourbons I recommend to people when they're trying to get their hands on something that they want to take that next step to a good bourbon, like a mid shelf. Four Roses, small batch, Knob Creek, single barrel. Those are both picks that I would take. Yeah. I had a bunch of them. I've kind of drank them over the years, but yeah, I have this OBSQ, which is the floral yeast strain and the high rye, and it's like, oh man, it's freaking killer. The thing I like about the Four Roses batch variations is that, for me personally, the higher rye, it just brings more complexity to the bourbon, which is what I want. The E batches, they're the low rye. It's more on the sweet side. I mean, there are good exceptions, but I'm a big fan of and then the Q, which is the high floral yeast strain. Killer. $80 for Arcana. Oh wow, that's got a healthy bit of decently aged. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Happy to send you a sample, man. Oh, I hate the regular Four Roses. Really? Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think the regular single barrel is fantastic. Bourbon doesn't warrant over $100 for me. Malts for me. Yeah, I agree. Very seldomly. There are always exceptions, but for the most part, I agree. All right, I got to go grab some water, y'all. We're about to hit that 3-hour mark on the quote unquote quick live stream tonight. So hope you guys can hang for a second. I will be right back. All right, y'all, I'm back. I also, in my travels, found it. The most expensive bourbon I've ever paid for. Jefferson's, other than the Rhetoric 24, which I'm selling tonight. Jefferson's Ocean, cast strength, batch 10. This is at 56% ABV. Say what you want about the like corny ass ocean thing. I don't think you can notice it at all, what they advertise, which is basically like, oh, it's been through a bunch of different climates and it's going to have ocean salinity added to it because of the salt air. I don't think you can notice it on the regular releases, but you do notice a little bit of a saltiness on the cast strength. And I'll tell you, this is not worth $100. But if you see a cast strength Jefferson's Ocean for around, I don't know, $80, get it. It's good. I really do think I don't think it's worth money. If this was around 80 or less, I think it's close to being worth it. But I'm going to pour a dram. First of all, their bottle is awesome. It just looks great. And then you got this little world thing on the background because, you know, it crosses the equator X times. Not only is this Voyage 10, but this is also a store pick. And the Batch 10 is one of the better ones. So Batch 10 won Best Bourbon at the New Orleans Whiskey Festival in 2017, I want to say. It's a really good bourbon. And yeah, the thing about Jefferson's, it's very corn. It's very sweet forward. There's not a lot of spice to it. The barrel influence is also very light, a lot of vanilla buttercream, caramel. But this does have a nice, warm spice note to it and a little bit of the saltiness, which, again, if I put it in the black Kilcaren and didn't know what it was, would I notice it? I don't know. But I do notice it on the cast strength. I never noticed it on the regular releases. It's a damn good bourbon. 19 in the chat took a quick. Yeah, you know, got to do what I got to do. We're hitting that 3-hour mark, so this is not my normal style. And considering it's only 10, Lord knows how much longer this is going to go. Better check in with the. Yeah, give me a second here, y'all. My queen out in LA. She's got things to say. She might be doing whiskey shows with me too soon. I'll let you know. Look, I'm gonna be straight with you. This whole ocean thing, going on the cask on the boat, I get it. It's like corny and like kind of obvious, like the most obvious of marketing. Like Highland Park would do this if it was Scotch, right? But this bourbon is no slouch, man. It's really good. It's really good. It is legit good. I can't. I want to hate on it, but I can't. It's legit good. It's a sweeter bourbon. It doesn't have much rye. There's not a lot of that spice and depth on the herbal side of things, but it's hard to hate on. Folks talking about Four Roses. DH Silva was crying about something. What happened? Ashton Drums, 2019. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, that's one thing that the U.S. has. I mean, and Four Roses is the top example of this, but Knob Creek is another one. I'm telling you, like you can get bottles of Knob Creek that are upwards of 15 years old, 13 years old, 14 years old for $50 or less. Single barrel, 60% ABV. Like it's that good. Certain batches have the slice yeast spray. Yeah, the cast strength, definitely. Don't buy Oceans. Hey, man, I'm telling you, if you find this for sub $80, it's worth it. I'm just going to say it. It really is. I do. She's a friend. Her name's Maria. So Maria, maybe, assuming things all go well in the future, maybe it's going to be Malt Maria Mondays or something like that. Because she's also working her way into whiskey. So, No. I mean, it's good, but no. Don't waste your money. It's it underwhelms for what you want. A lot of alcohol burn. It's just not great. It's not great. It's not worth that $80, especially when, even if you compare it to other Highland Parks, you can get a full volume or the Twisted Tattoo, which is, I think both of those are better. I would hold off. So Villex said, oh, I missed this one. I don't know which one you were talking about. Oh, Cohen's a fan. State your case, brother. Drinking a 10-year Highland Park cast strength bourbon Indy. Nice. Okay. I don't know what to expect out of that. Wow, I'm caught up in the chat. All right, so anyways, let's recap. We did some Indian whiskey. Again, highly, highly, highly recommend. If anybody needs to know where they can get this shipped to their house, let me know in the chat. It is Blackwell's. It's an $80 bottle, highly limited release from Paul John. This will be in my top 5 whiskeys of the year. I can't imagine anything beating it. It is 46% ex-bourbon, Oloroso, and virgin oak, and then slightly peated. What do you call it? Slightly peated barley. The place is called Blackwell's. Let me just double check. Blackwell's Wines and Spirits. Get on their website now if you want this. Amazing. I highly recommend it. And get this, if you order over $300 worth of merchandise from them, they'll ship it to you for free. So you can even avoid that. All right, what's going on here? Maybe the one bottle malt Muser and I really agree on Twisted Tattoo. You're just going Neb and Kelly. Hey, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but you may see me in Marina Del Rey or Culver City somewhat soon. We will see. I don't know about that, man. Why are you putting that one in all caps? What do you mean something we don't agree on? I got 5 bottles you and I agree on right now. And we'll go by your scale, which is like the hypercritical scale. There's one of them right there, Glengoyne 25. So that's 2 bottles. What else I got for you, DH? What other bottles would DH go? I'm just gonna try and point out bottles DH Silva go 3.5 or higher on. Ooh, it's a high bar. It's a high bar with this cat. Bunnahabhain, 9-year-old red wine Bordeaux cask, Moynier. Annock 24, Black Art 4.1. Probably the Springbank 11 Sauternes. You probably didn't go 375 on the rum. It doesn't strike me as your style. Ardbeg Supernova 2019. Laphroaig 28. Okay. That's 6. Let me know if I hit the mark. What are you comparing that to? I'm way behind, so I probably fucked up. Eric does have a look going for him. I don't know. The COVID look? That I definitely have. I hope not. I have a bottle of the 2017 if anybody wants it. They sold me on the cartridge the previous year. Yeah. Jesus says, well, haha. Well, not high end. Oh, okay. Well, set your parameters. I'll okay. You set your parameters, and I'll guarantee I can find 5 whiskeys that you and I agree on. The 28 would be a 1.5 Citrons. No, I'd have to look at my Supernova score. Okay, well, all right. I mean, you know, you go ahead. You throw out the parameters, and I'll see if I can meet you there. Why not? We're having fun. Let me just do a quick check. I'm selling some bourbons right now, y'all. I just sold a old Elijah Craig barrel proof. I gotta make sure these cats pay up. Because you know how it gets in these websites, man. People are acting foolish. Anyways, I'll go to the mat at $80 to $85 for the the Jefferson's Ocean aged at sea cast strength batch 10. If you can get your hands on this and it's under 85, buy it. This is a great bourbon. In fact, it's probably one of the better bourbons that I've had. And as Whiskey Ace alluded to, it does have the saltiness. Now, I don't know if that's just sodium buildup in a barrel or if it's actually from the sea air, but nonetheless, this is a damn good bourbon. Ace says Highland Park is $89.99. Which one? Oh, you're talking about the Twisted Tattoo Rioja? That's worth it. That's a good one. Cohen, man, you're lucky I didn't come out and holler at you, man. I've been out to LA a lot, and I'm coming back in March. I told you if I have time, I will, but I got to go out. It's a business thing. But if it works out, if I end up out there in a few months, man, or months after that, you let me, I'll let you know. It'll happen. Yes, he said. Okay. Speaking of, just give me a second. So, any of you cats check out my my review that came out today about the Elijah Craig Toasted Oak, or no, I'm sorry, it was the double barrel, or whatever the fuck they call it, toasted barrel. I would love to hear what you thought about that because it's trash. Oh, DH Silva's got something to say. Well, in terms of scores, it would be tough to compare. Well, you can't keep adding qualifiers to this, man. You made a statement. Stick to it. I'd score 3.4 and you go 4. I include costs. I'll not include costs. Whatever. Give me 5 whiskeys. Give me 5 whiskeys you put over 3. Or let me give you 5 whiskeys I put over 3 that are sub $100 or something like that. I don't know. You set the parameters. My point is that we probably agree more than you think. You're just pugnacious, which is fine. But we all know that. No, it's not. It's totally not. It's over oaked. And it's not that great. I thought it was, dude. Daniel, you're going to laugh at this. So the Elijah Craig Toasted, because it hasn't shown up in every market, it's a $50 bottle at Total Wine. I mean, like literally you go to Total Wine here in PA, or I'm sorry, in New Jersey, or you go to Delaware and go to Total Wine. It's a $55 bottle. On secondary market right now, it is going for upwards of $200 because people can't get their hands on it. And I see these people flipping these bottles, and I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, this is not anything to write home about at all. The Elijah Craig Toasted Oak, Toasted Barrel, I did post a review of it today because that's what I do on Fridays. Check it out if you're interested in hearing my opinion on it. And I think you'll probably find exactly what you think if you've had it, which is like, what's the hype? It does open up. It takes a while, though. Yeah, it has tons of harshwood tannins. I totally agree. Yeah. What's up, Coates? How you doing? Yeah, it's turned into a thing. You need to go to Daily Pine Bar in Santa Monica when you get your whiskeys. I was in Santa Monica, a couple months ago. Yeah, no. I mean, you're out in, where the fuck were you? I know. I mean, I know you're in the same vicinity. We're going to do that. We'll make it happen, man. There's a possible chance I'm going to be living there in 6 months. So probably Culver City. If that happens, we got some whiskeys to drink. Says I like the toasted. Well, yeah, I mean, that's consistent with your, like, you liked the tannicness of those orphan barrels. That makes sense. I mean, I don't know if it's mediocre. It's just, look, I mean, we're talking about bourbon on spectrum in a market that's totally lopsided and ridiculous. I mean, there are alternatives to all of these things. I think Blanton's single barrel at its normal MSRP of $55 is a reasonable price. The problem is that most people here, you know, in the States are willing to pay $200 for a $50 bottle of bourbon. So in that sense, I agree with you. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's what people... Welcome to the United States. Yeah, Sherman Oaks. Yeah. Dude, Silv. No, I mean, I think that but like, I think that the thing about the toasted barrel ultimately was that I found it to be incredibly tannic and drying. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but that's what it was for me. I think it's a try before you buy whiskey. I think I gave it a 2.75. Why double the price for ultimately, like, I don't think it's much better than the small batch. And really all you're getting is a heavily influenced tannic barrel. But I will admit anecdotally that I noticed that it got a lot better once the bottle was about halfway done. What can you do? Looking... Matt D says, well, the clock is past 4 a.m. here. You sign yourself off, comrade. I should do the same relatively soon here. While it's only 10, the way I'm feeling is it might as well be 3. You don't pay more for better. You pay more for different. You don't pay more for better. You pay more. I mean, yes, and that's not a either or statement. Of course, I pay more for different. I mean, I'll pay for something with an interesting finish or an interesting maturation that's like comparable in price. And will of course pay more for quote unquote better, but I can only measure that by probably age statement or something like that. So both. I don't think that the toasted. My point is, if we're talking, if you're referencing the Elijah Craig, I don't think that I think the point is that it's not better enough to justify the price. And personally, I find it to be a bit trying and over tannic for what I would have hoped it would have been. In other words, if Elijah Craig small batch is $30 and the toasted barrel is $50 and the barrel proof is $70, I would buy the barrel proof and just splurge on that versus buy the toasted barrel because it's not a comparable intermediary. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that, Jason Coates. Yep, that's also better. Agreed. But it costs a lot of. I mean, here's the thing. You and Dustin and I had a conversation about this once, and it's true. Like it does. It's you got to remember, by law, bourbon has to be in new charred oak barrels. So to double barrel anything, to toast another barrel, to put it in another virgin air, whatever, like that costs a lot of money for bourbon makers because you're literally giving up a barrel that you could use to age bourbon in order to double barrel something. So like the price is justified in that sense to a degree. I mean, it's debatable, but it's just like there's a reason it costs more. However, would I say that the bourbon itself is worth what you get? I would say no. I don't think it is. I actually think it's quite the opposite. I just think it kind of fell flat. So, like, that's the thing about the toes. Yeah, I agree with Daniel's point in there. It won't be. The point is double. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, oh, so you're right. I mean, maybe. I mean, that's fair. I mean, it's like I'm not going to debate that, but yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yes, that is for that price. I can't wait to get to the West Coast. Everything else is more expensive, but so bourbon fans seem to love Woodford Federal Reserve. How is it's good. I am not a big fan of Woodford generally. Like it's not like I did, I got lucky. I got to go visit the distillery in last year. It's not my favorite whiskey, but they're double oaked or whatever it's called, double barrel, double oaked. Yeah, it's good. Luckily, we here in I'm part of, again, I've said this before, the Philadelphia Whiskey Society. We are going to do a barrel pick selection of a Woodford double oaked. I'm really looking forward to that. They kick ass on that. And it is around the same price, maybe a tad higher than the Elijah Craig toasted. The Woodford is worth your money. Mm-hmm. 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 Yep. Don't bother with Woodford. So if you're going to buy anything from Woodford, get the double oak. Okay. I'm going to pour one more before we wrap this up. And this is somehow went 3 hours. And I called it quick. All right. I have a 28-year-old Deanston Muscat finish, which I am dying to drink, but I can't because I'm realizing as I talk that I literally just drank all this peat, and there's no way I'll be able to appreciate it. So I think I'm going to leave that on the wayside for now. We're going to do just a quick dram of Lagavulin. This is the Jazz Fest. Jazz Fest This is 2018 Jazz Fest, 58.5% ABV. Lagavulin, no age statement. Yeah, we're just going to do this. And since I don't have a clean Kilcaren, I'm just going to fucking pour it here. I'm drinking a bunch of bougie high-end whiskeys. I wish I had more of them, but you know how it goes. Jason Coates, Dio is a good buy. Agreed. Not a fan of Woodford, but I will drink if someone else has it. Not buying it though. Fair. This is my girlfriend. Who is the girlfriend? Yeah, I'll be ready. Malta and Maria Mondays are going to happen soon enough. Y'all just got to roll with me on this. Woodford Batch Reserve is in my just in the $30 shelf. $50 max. Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, man. I got a Deanston. It's a 1995. It's 28 years old, 45% with a Muscat finish of 3 years. I want to open it right now, but I can't because my fucking palate is shattered by Pete. Agreed. Before we depart for the evening, I do have a recommendation for folks. If you haven't done it yet and you're into bourbon and you want a good bang for your buck bourbon, this is the one to get. Old Tub. This is from the Jim Beam Distillery. It is unchill filtered. It is 50% bottled and bond ABV. Kicks ass. And it is $20 or less. This is the best bourbon you can get on the bottom shelf market at this point. I think this drinks at a comparable level to a Four Roses small batch or a what would be another equivalent? Kind of that mid-range stuff, you know? Get yourself one of these. You will not be disappointed. That's the type of daily drinking bourbon that you need in your life. It's fucking good. You did crush that tram. Old Tub. Yep. Whiskey Ace has got. I know, right? Yeah. PA government stores at $16.99, dude. I did the same thing you did, man. I grabbed 3 of those bastards. It's stupid good, and it undermines the Jim Beam Prohibition Edition, which whatever. But man, I'm telling you, Old Tub is going to be in my top 5 whiskey of the year. It really is. It's fucking great. No, get it. It's better than the Elijah Craig small batch. Yes, it is. That's basically free. It's so. This stuff must be incredibly young because I don't understand how they're releasing this, given all the other stuff that's come out of Jim Beam over the last couple of years. I don't get how they're releasing it at this price. But I will tell you straight up, this stuff is fucking killer. This is one of the most killer bourbons I've had at a $20 or less value. Like, you can't fuck with it, man. You just can't. So again, Old Tub, it's everywhere. Get yourself some. This is a bourbon you should just have on your shelf for those days where you don't know what you want to drink. This is the equivalent of a Highland Park 12 on your Scotch shelf. You don't know what kind of bourbon you want to drink. I'm just going to pour myself some Old Tub, see what happens. That's what this is good for. It's also good because it would stand up in a cocktail. It's got a little bit of a rye mash bill. You can tell it's got some spice. It's got some backbone. Also, 50% ABV. What? For fucking $20? Don't be foolish. Just grab it. You will not be disappointed. Oh, totally. If not more. If not more. Well, DH Silva, you bring up a great point. I have some 12-year-old Elijah Craig small batch picks, and they're fantastic. I wish I could get more of them. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yep. I mean, 30 or less is a def buy. I would buy that at $29.99. It's not even. What else is there? What else is there at a $30 price point better than the old tub? Maybe the Jim Beam bonded. I feel like the best thing about the old tub, despite coming from Jim Beam, is it doesn't have that classic. It doesn't have as much of that classic Jim Beam peanut forward kind of nuttiness. Like, this is a much more standard bourbon. It doesn't have as much of that beam quality, which I like, and it's here, but it's in the background. I think that's what makes this a standout. Yes. Nah, old tub over the black all day, every day. Agreed. I'm buying that price. Okay. Do you, my friend? No, it's better than Wild Turkey 101. I think the old tub is better than Wild Turkey 101. I'll go to the mat on that. It's a horse apiece. Here's the difference. The Wild Turkey 101, which I love, the difference is the cherry note, that cherry cotton candy classic Wild Turkey thing comes through a lot stronger and therefore imbalances the bourbon a bit more on the Wild Turkey 101 than this. This is exceptionally balanced. Now, if you're into the Wild Turkey, get the Wild Turkey. I would never hate on the 101, but I'm telling you, if you want balance and proportionality, this one does it. And with that, all right, y'all. This quick live stream turned into a 3.5 hour live stream. So fuck, whatever. It's been good hanging out, everybody. If you take a second, hit the thumbs up. I would appreciate it. It does wonders for the channel. Of course, I will be back on Tuesday with the happy hour, so that'll be happening. If you haven't yet, subscribe. You'll get the notification. Hit the bell. It'll let you know. Tuesday happy hour. And, of course, whiskey reviews come out every Friday. I dropped one today about something. If you hit the channel, you'll find out. I think it was called Elijah Craig. I think it was a bourbon. And I think it was called the Toasted Barrel. So take a peek at that. Give me a thumbs up before you sign off, man. And I hope everybody stays well. Put a mask on. Don't get yourself some COVID. Really appreciate hanging out with everybody. As always, man, everybody stay good. We got a new year ahead of us. Let's keep it rolling. Be well. Namaste, Salancha, and I'll see you all on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern for the Tuesday happy hour. Peace.